Good morning, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. Where is my... Something's missing. Something's missing. My comments. My comments graphic is missing on the stream. I don't know why this is. Why is this? Where did it go? Let's see if this works. There we go. Is it working now? I don't know. I'll have to fix this after. My comments animation isn't working. Where it says, write to me at Lookner on X. Anyways, I'll have to fix that. But we're here live to bring you Trump's press conference that he is going to give in 38 minutes from Trump Tower. We got some live video there from Trump Tower. Thanks for joining me. Let me just take a second. See, I just noticed this thing wasn't working. I don't know why that's not working. Let me try one more thing here. Let me try one more thing. Why isn't it working? Let's see. Hang on 1 second here. Oh, I think I might know why. Huh. Try one more thing here. So odd. All right, I guess we'll have to be without our comments animation. I'll have to fix this after. Last attempt. Well, it's not working right now. Anyways, you can see that is Trump. That is Trump Tower, and across the street from Trump Tower, right there. I wonder if we have any volume on this. Let me see the volume. Do we have volume on this? Let's see. Let's see here. I think we do. I'm not hearing it though. Oh, hold on. You'll hear it in a second. Here we go. There we go. Oh, that's fake Trump. That's fake Trump who's driving around. There's a fake Trump driving around, and that's him.
Thank you so much.
Oh, hold on. I can't play the music. Somebody's playing very loud copyrighted music, which I can't play. Holding up a Hunter Biden photos, or it looked like. I think. There you go. That is New York City. So I can't play the music. So hang on 1 second here. Let's try one more thing here. For some reason. Oh, there we go. I got the comments working again. That's nice. There, my comments graphic is working. All is right with the world. We're back here. Oh, sorry. Wonderful. Okay, so Trump is giving a press conference, and do we get rid of the music here? No, I can't play the live music. Trump is giving a press conference at Trump Tower in New York. You can see there's sort of a small caravan of, I guess, pro-Trump vehicles driving around. What are they, just driving around in circles around Trump Tower? Is that what they're doing? We're going to have live coverage of this for you in 35 minutes. 35 minutes. Okay? So bringing you live coverage right now. Hang on a second here. Hey, appreciate you guys all being here, and thanks to all of our moderators too. Kinetic is moderating. Thanks, Kinetic. Linda, Belk, and Larry moderate for us. Thank you. Thanks also to, hang on a moment here. One moment here. Hey, thanks to I Got That Fire and Papa Bear moderating over there on Twitch, thank you. Also, thanks to our Facebook mods as well. Oops, I got to do something real quick here. Going to thank our Facebook mods. Appreciate it. And thanks to all of you for watching. You are looking at Trump Tower. Oh, I'm seeing... Do we have subscriber badges back on Facebook? Matt Etsy is a subscriber. Thanks, Matt. Oh, sorry. We were having a little issue with the subscriber badges on Facebook. It looks like hopefully they might have fixed it. We'll see. All right, so 33 minutes until this press conference. Trump actually posted on his Truth Social yesterday that they were going to have a press conference today at 11. So I assume he's doing it to talk about the verdict from yesterday, right? As I'm sure many of you are aware, Trump was convicted on 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree by a jury in Manhattan yesterday. He's going to appeal that conviction, which could take a year or more to wind its way through the courts. But the sentencing is supposed to happen on July 11th, and he's giving a press conference about it today. And we'll have live video of the press conference for you. I want to take some comments from you guys as we wait here. How are we doing? I would like to play audio, but again, the music keeps happening. Oh, I got a little, all right, no music for the moment. We're music free for the moment. So I can play a little audio here. There we go. There it is. It's the building on the left. That is Trump Tower.
Never gotten that, but no. I'll take it.
Daryl Jones, you know what I'm talking about? Bass player with the Stones?
Never got
too young.
a little too young for that one, but wow. What were you doing there?
This is a Reuters feed right here. This is the Reuters feed.
Proof of life?
And then they'll have the camera inside where the press conference is inside. The press conference is inside Trump Tower. So yeah, I don't really know what he's going to say at the press conference. I mean, I can predict. I'm sure he'll say it was a rigged trial because he's been saying that for months. But will he, announce anything different? Will he say anything he hasn't been saying lately? Oh, there we go. There we got our shot of Trump Tower at the front. There we go. I like that. Nice. There's our beauty front shot of Trump Tower for you. There we go. Dark Cloud thinks it'll be the same basic stuff he's been saying. Jesse Wilson says, get your popcorn ready. Hold on a second here. Mrs. Smith says, I don't think he'll say anything we haven't already heard. A lot of police there. It was quite a day yesterday. We were covering the jury deliberation yesterday, and at around 4:15, the judge said that the jury was going to be excused at 4:30. Oh, there we go. Oh, we got the podium. Oh, awesome, we got the podium. Everybody said, and everybody was thinking that the jury was going home yesterday, and at the last minute, they said they had a verdict. Look, we got the podium. We have the podium. Breaking news. We got the podium for you. All right. It is a press conference. That's what it is. It is a press conference. It has a political purpose, I'm sure. I mean, it is the election year, but it is the press conference. He called it a press conference. I assume he'll take some questions if he's calling it a press conference. Thanks to our member Rune. Thanks, Rune. Thank you guys for being with us. You know, how long will it be? I don't know. It's a pretty, I mean, it's not like, you know, sometimes he has these things where he says, I'm going to, after a big news event where he says, I'm going to have a news conference or something. Ooh, look, Trump Tower. And he does it, sometimes they'll do it at Mar-a-Lago and it's short, but this is a big, I mean, this is like a big doing. Look at this. So this is like, they have a podium and it's in Trump Tower. So I'd be surprised if it was like 10 minutes, but who knows? Who knows, you know? But it's, they've had a, you know, they have a whole setup there. James McNair says, let's see how much he verbally attacks the guy who will be sentencing him. So the person sentencing him is the judge, Judge Merchan. Am I pronouncing Merchan right? I never look it up. But who he has been attacking as corrupt, for example, frequently. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to change it all on his approach to that, given that Merchan is going to be sentencing him. Is he still on a gag order? That's a good question. I think he might be because the sentencing hasn't taken place, but I'm not sure. We were talking about that yesterday. I don't have an answer for you. Because the jury has... Oh, gag order remains. Hold on. Yes, according to Politico, last night on Fox News, Trump's lawyer Todd Blanche said they are still under a gag order. That's according to his lawyer, they're still under a gag order. That's what Trump's lawyer said last night. Hey, thanks so much to Califab. Wow, that's nice of you, Califab. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Terry D24 says, I would think he would need to behave himself before being sentenced. Now, I mean, again, because the jury has already given their verdict, so that's not going to be impacted by a gag order. But again, that has, I don't know that so Politico's source for the claim that they're still under a gag order is Trump's lawyer. But that's not from like the court or anything like that. So one purpose somebody said, what is the purpose of the gag order? I would think that one purpose of the gag order is not to have the jury be influenced by something that Trump says and make sure it's a fair trial. That's what I would think. There could be other reasons. I'm not familiar with the actual. I'd have to go back and look at what like the judge said about the gag order for this trial. You know, another in theory reason could be like, you know, you're undermining the functioning of the court in general when you say all these bad things about it or something, or putting, you know, there could be a gag order talking about putting people's safety at risk or something. I don't know.
I am testing the mic. We just updated the malt box right now, so I'm just testing it. Testing 1, 2. Hello, hello. Hopefully the other malt box is working. I'm speaking at a normal register. It's not a very high register or anything like that. So we are speaking at a normal level. He's probably going to be speaking a lot louder than this. But we're just trying to get general audio levels right now. And we plugged in to the malt box to begin with. It's only a 12 channel. It's working?
Little audio test. Yeah, I can bump up the volume if need be. So I have ways of bumping up the volume, but we'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be a little louder when Trump starts speaking. Yeah, one of our viewers, Dark Brandon, said that's the elevator. So is that the elevator that he came down, what was it, 2015 when he announced his candidacy? Is that the elevator? Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Frank White says you are way louder than the vid you're streaming, dude. That's because, dude, I'm talking, dude, and the video, dude, is playing background, dude, and I don't want to have. I want people to be able to hear me, dude, over this background video, dude, while it's background video, dude. But I'll turn it up, dude, when the press conference starts, dude. I also don't know, will anybody else be speaking at this press conference besides Trump? That I don't know. Carsey says, will his wife be there? I don't know if any family members will be there. That's a good question. Will Don Jr. be there? Will Eric be there? Will Lara Trump be there? That I don't know. Good question. Will they speak? Will someone introduce him? Will he just come out himself? Thanks to our member X Rando. Sonny says, since he was found guilty, doesn't he need to post bail? He hasn't been sentenced yet. He might not get any jail time. If he doesn't get any jail time, he doesn't have to post bail. Even if he gets jail time, it's not clear that he. I mean, I think the general consensus is it's less likely than more likely he will get jail time. But even if he does, it might be the case that when he appeals the case, that would be put off. Okay. That he would not have to serve it while his appeal is going through. So, but he has not been sentenced yet. His sentencing is on July 11th. There's the podium. There is the podium. Our viewer Nebujal says, apparently it's common to get just probation in cases like this. Yeah, I mean, I think that's generally the case, although he has some special circumstances. So someone might say, like, well, the judge could, in theory, cite his behavior and attacking the court system and stuff like that as an aggravating factor, that kind of thing. Who knows? Let's see if I have any updates here just from this morning. Give me one moment here. I'm going to do a quick check here just to make sure I'm not missing any breaking updates. How angry is he going to be today? Or was he going to be upbeat? You know, what's the attitude going to be? I'm not sure. By the way, the Trump campaign said that it raised about $35 million in small donor donations yesterday after the verdict. The campaign said it was nearly double its biggest day ever on the WinRed platform. TJ Sider said he was noticeably fuming yesterday. I thought when he spoke after the verdict, he seemed a little more low key than some of his other appearances, because we'd been watching his appearances. I mean, he'd been there for a long time, you know, for 5 weeks or whatever it was. But he was a little more when he spoke last night after the verdict. Again, a little bit lower key. I don't know if he'll be like that today, though. You can write to me at Lookner on X. We got about 17 minutes. 17 minutes until the press conference. We're bringing you live coverage. Live coverage of the press conference. Hang on. Breen Wilson, our viewer, thinks that Trump will not get jail time. Breen thinks he'll get a slap on the wrist. Libelula says if he were sentenced to home confinement, that would affect the campaign. One expert who CBS News talked to said that he thought the most likely scenario would be Trump would get some home confinement. I have no idea if that's going to happen. He could get some probation. He could get a fine. He could get community service, some combination of all these. Beanie Weenie says the sentence, the penalty, is supposed to be a message to them and others like them to not do this. Rolo SC says now he is going into his federal cases with a criminal history. And the Georgia case. Although none of those cases, the two federal cases, the classified documents in the January 6th and in the Georgia election interference case, none of those is expected to go to trial before the election. Do I think this will affect his approval rating? Personally, I don't think it's going to change many people's minds, but that's just my thought. Who knows? I mean, I think a lot of people are so set in their view of him that I don't know that it really has much of an effect. But you know, in an election, it looks like it could be a very close election. So even if it affected a few people's view of him, that could make a difference in the election. But I have a hard time believing it's going to affect many people's view of him. I have a different camera angle, which I might be able to give you. I have a different camera angle. Oh, look, that's not the one, but that's a good one. I like that one. We'll stay with that. Hey, thanks so much to Joe. Joe thinks the point is to take him away from the campaign. He will be imprisoned, I think Joe wants to say, or given house arrest at least. They've gone this far, they're going on the way. So Joe thinks that the judge is in like cahoots with the Democrats and that the Democrats are ordering the judge to do certain things to Trump. Now, there's been no actual evidence presented of that, by the way. But thank you, Joe. I appreciate your note and your support for the channel. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, Joe. Let me just see if I can get this other camera angle up for a second. We'll see. Hang on a second here. Hang on one moment. One moment here. I have alternate camera angle. Here we go. What does this angle look like? Let's see. Hold on. I have to refresh this one. Let me refresh this one for you. This is the other camera angle. Give it a second. Let's see if it refreshes. Ooh, look at that. That looks nice. Look at that, huh? That's from AFP. That's the AFP camera angle. We have 11 and a half minutes till this starts. There's the podium. We're going to have live coverage of him speaking, by the way. We will have live coverage of him giving his press conference. How many questions will he take? Beats me. Thanks for joining us this morning. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate it. One of our viewers, Bree M, thinks that Trump is going to come down the escalator with Melania. That's what our viewer, Bree M, thinks. Rainier says no shot that Melania is there. Hey, thanks again to our moderators. I really appreciate it, moderators. Thank you. RJ is here moderating. Thanks, RJ. We had Kinetic here. Richard Williams. Hey, Richard Williams. Thanks, Richard. Good to see you. Linda Belk and Larry moderate for us. Our viewer, Michelle Batten, says, will Trump be on time? That's a good question. I'm not sure. Thanks also for moderating. A big ball of yarn, hearsay. LB Prairie Dawn, I got that fire. Papa Bear and Surly Dev. John Majewski says maybe Barron will be with him. Dan Uff, our viewer, says, I hope he comes out swinging and I hope his entire family is there. Dutch guy says, do you know if Trump's previous conditional punishments will engage with this guilty sentence? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by previous conditional punishments, but like, I mean, he has a couple civil rulings against him. I don't know if the fact that he had, you know, like, he was fined hundreds of millions of dollars for business fraud at the start of the year. I think it was the start of the year, although I may be wrong. Maybe it was last year. I can't remember. But does that at all factor into his sentencing for this? I have no idea. I don't know when Judge Merchan sentences him for this. Is he supposed to factor in any of Trump's other legal involvements from the last couple of years? I just don't know. Like, is that something that normally would matter to a judge in sentencing? I don't have an answer for you. It's an interesting question. Oh, the clock. What happened to the clock? Hold on a second here. You know, I have to fix this. Hold on. There's the clock. What happened to the clock on the other one? Where'd it go? There's the clock. It's not there. Now it's there. Sorry, I don't know what happened to the clock. Thanks for mentioning it. Thanks so much, Phil, from the UK, from your UK Dan Club. Hey, thanks. I think maybe he meant fan club, but he said Dan Club. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate that. Thank you also, Joe. I appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for your support, Joe. Again, Joe is saying no evidence. The FBI fabricated the Russia collusion. They've been going after him consistently. My point was, Joe, there's been no evidence presented tying Judge Merchan to, say, Democratic interests. So I guess that's my point. There's been no evidence presented that Judge Merchan himself is being ordered to behave a certain way by some other people in the Democratic Party. Because I think that's what you're saying is happening. So now you, I guess, maybe think there's circumstantial evidence of that. So maybe we just disagree on what compelling evidence would be in this case. So Joe thinks there has been evidence of it. Thank you, Joe. Thanks also to Rune from Norway. Has anything like this happened to a president before in the U.S. or even a Western democracy? Confusing and strange times. Well, no U.S. president has been charged with a crime. So somebody might say, wow, something has changed. But somebody else might say nothing has changed. The law is the same. No president has done behavior that would get them charged with a crime. So there's two different ways of looking at it. You could say, well, something has changed because a former president is being charged with a crime. But somebody else might say, well, nothing has changed. What changed is that this is the first former president who did something that broke the law. So I leave it to you to decide how to think about that. Regarding Western democracies, I mean, there have been, just off the top of my head, hasn't France, France has charged a former leader, right? Yeah, I mean, the ex-president of France, Sarkozy, was received a prison. He got. Let me just see this here. France Sarkozy. I don't know the history of Western democracies and criminal trials against former leaders of those democracies. But just to point one out, Nicolas Sarkozy, former president of France, was charged by French prosecutors in 2 cases, according to Wikipedia. He was convicted of corruption in 2021 in 2 separate trials. And he has received a prison sentence. So that's just one example. As to how common it is, I can't say. I don't have the kind of knowledge to give you context in that case. Thank you, Rune. I'll put the Sarkozy thing in the chat. Thank you also, B. McCorquodale. B. McCorquodale. Appreciate your support from the UK. Thanks, Rob Van Roy, for the gift membership as well. Thanks, Rob. Ooh, that's outside. All right, we're going to go. That's outside. I'm going to cut back to inside, though. I'm going to go back to the Reuters shot right now. Well, let's go to the Reuters shot. There we go. There is the Reuters shot. So we are waiting for Trump to come in what, 2.5 minutes? I don't know. Somebody said put on the presidential music. I wonder if they'll play music. I'll have to mute it if they play Proud to be an American. I don't think they're going to play Proud to be an American here, like they do at the rallies. It's interesting. At the rallies, they would be playing loud music right now, but they're not doing it right now. Thanks for your kind words, Joey B. Oh, I can go back to the other video now. Wait a second. Hang on one moment. Here we go. Oh, I should put, instead of saying live New York City, I should say live Trump Tower, New York City. Because it is a Trump Tower. That's better. That's better. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Oh, thanks so much to Kingston. Thinks they're going to play yakety sax as they walk out, as he walks out. Hey, thank you, Kingston. I really appreciate that. Kingston. So I don't know if it'll be right on time. I'm going to have to take the countdown clock off in 30 seconds. I'll change it to at any moment. In 30 seconds, I'll change it. He'll probably be a few minutes late. Hold on. Let's go. Let's get back up. I don't need that. Let's just go. Let's go back to inside. There we go. All right. Hang on a second here. All right. Let me fix the. I gotta fix the. I don't want it to say be counting up now. So let me do this. Let's get rid of that. We'll get rid of that there. We'll get rid of the clock, the countdown clock there. And then hold on. We gotta get rid of the countdown clock here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, Trump press conference at any moment. Good. I like that. I like where this is going. Fix this here. Fix that headline there. Good. Oopsie. So I'm just fixing the headline. Just fixing the headline here. Don't worry. We're there. There we go. Let's go back here for a second. Ooh, here we go. Thanks, Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man says, will Melania show up? It's a good question. I don't know if any family members will be there. I don't know if anybody will speak besides him. I don't know how many questions he will take. Thanks, Shaf, for the gift memberships. Thanks so much, Shaf. This feed is the AFP feed. I pay for the AFP and the Reuters feeds. So we have both of those today. I am just keeping an eye on, see if I'm missing any updates here. And then after the press conference, we'll talk about it. I'll take some of your comments after the press conference. Hold on, I gotta get this now. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to do the outside feed. I want to do the inside feed. There is the podium right there. Yeah, I don't want to miss the start of the press conference, so I'm going to stay on this. Thanks for your kind words, Bob Owens. Our viewer, Sunny Days, thinks that the conviction is going to be reversed on appeal. We will have to see. That process could take over a year. Could end up in the Supreme Court eventually. I'd be surprised if it was like really short, given that it's this whole setup and they got the podium and they got all this press there. I have to imagine it's going to have some degree of length to it, but I don't know. Hey, thanks so much, Ben Cruz. Ben says this trial is fine so long as every criminal act by every senator, representative, and former president is tried in court as well. Thanks, Ben, for your support. I really appreciate that, Ben Cruz. Let's go back and see what's going on. Well, here, but in Trump Tower, but in the hall, but out, different camera angle time. Lots of press there, as you can see. Daniel Morris says it's all theater. All right, I'm seeing people taking pictures. All right, here we go. I'm seeing people cheering. What's happening? There he is. There he is, right there. I'm going to switch camera angles in a second. I'm going to switch camera angles right now. Hold on. There we go. We got him. I might have to bump up the volume here.
This is a case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone. These are bad people. These are, in many cases, I believe, sick people. When you look at our country, what's happening where millions and millions of people are flowing in from all parts of the world, not just South America, from Africa, from Asia, from the Middle East, and they're coming in from jails and prisons, and they're coming in from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're coming in from all over the world into our country. And we have a president and a group of fascists that don't want to do anything about it, because they could right now, today, he could stop it. But he's not. They're destroying our country. Our country is in very bad shape. And they're very much against me saying these things. They want to raise your taxes by 4 times. They want to stop you from having cars with their ridiculous mandates that make it impossible for you to get a car or afford a car. But make it very possible for China to build all of our cars. It's a very serious problem that we have. We just went through one of many experiences where we had a conflicted judge, highly conflicted. There's never been a more conflicted judge. Now, I'm under a gag order, which nobody's ever been under. No presidential candidate's ever been under a gag order before. I'm under a gag order, nasty gag order, where I've had to pay thousands of dollars in penalties and fines and was threatened with jail. Think of it. I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by a lot, and I'm leading the Republicans to the point where that's over. So I'm the leading person for president, and I'm under a gag order by a man that can't put 2 sentences together, given by a court, and they are in total conjunction with the White House and the DOJ, just so you understand. This is all done by Biden and his people. Maybe his people more importantly. I don't know if Biden knows too much about it, because I don't know if he knows about anything. But he's nevertheless the president, so we have to use his name. And this is done by Washington, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. So we have a judge who's highly conflicted. You know what the confliction is. Nobody wants to write about it, and I'm not allowed to talk about it. If I do, he said, I get put in jail. So we'll play that game a little bit longer. We won't talk about it, but you're allowed to talk about it. I hope you do, because there's never been anybody so conflicted as this. As far as the trial itself, it was very unfair. We weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. You saw what happened to some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were literally crucified by this man who looks like an angel, but he's really a devil. He looks so nice and soft. People say, oh, he seems like such a nice man. No, unless you saw him in action. And you saw that with a certain witness that went through hell. And when we wanted to do things, he wouldn't let us do those things. But when the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they wanted. It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted. And obviously he didn't do that. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We had a DA who was a failed DA. Crime is rampant in New York, violent crime. That's what he's really supposed to be looking at. Crime is rampant in New York. Yesterday in McDonald's, you had a man hitting him up with machetes, a machete. Whoever can imagine even a machete being wielded in a store, in a place where they're eating, and he's going rampant. And Bragg is down watching a trial on what they call crimes. They're falsifying business records. That sounds so bad. To me, it sounds very bad. You know, it's only a misdemeanor, but to me, it sounds so bad. When they say falsifying business, that's a bad thing for me. I've never had that before. I'm falsifying. You know what falsifying business records is? In the first degree. They say falsifying business records. Sounds so good, right? It means that legal expense, I paid a lawyer, totally legal. I paid a lawyer a legal expense. And a bookkeeper, without any knowledge from me, correctly marked it down in the books. A very professional woman, highly respected, she testified. Marked it down in the books as a legal expense. So a legal expense, paid a lawyer, is a legal expense in the books. It's not sheetrock, construction, or any other thing. It's a legal expense. Think of that. This is what the falsification of business records were. And I said, what else are you going to call it? What else are you going to call it? Now, I would have testified. I wanted to testify. The theory is you never testify, because as soon as you testify, anybody, if it were George Washington, don't testify, because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong, and then they sue you for perjury. But I didn't care about that. I wanted to. But the judge allowed them to go into everything that I was ever involved in, not this case, everything that I was ever involved in, which is a first. In other words, you could go into every single thing that I ever did. Was he a bad boy here? Was he a bad boy there? And my lawyer said, what do you need to go through? And all you wanted to do is testify simply on this case. Because I would have loved to have testified. To this day, I would have liked to have testified. But you would have said something out of whack, like it was a beautiful sunny day and it was actually raining out. And I very much appreciate the big crowd of people outside. That's incredible what's happening. The level of support has been incredible. So the whole thing is legal expense was marked down as legal expense. Think of it. This is the crime that I committed that I'm supposed to go to jail for 187 years for. When you have violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before, where you have businesses leaving, and businesses are leaving because of this, because heads of businesses say, man, we don't want to get involved with that. I could go through the books of any business person in this city, and I could find things that in theory, I guess, let's indict him, let's destroy his life. But I'm out there, and I don't mind being out there because I'm doing something for this country, and I'm doing something for our Constitution. It's very important, far beyond me. And this can't be allowed to happen to other presidents. It should never be allowed to happen in the future. But this is far beyond me. This is bigger than Trump. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than my presidency. And the people understand it because I just see a poll just came out, the Daily Mail. That was the first one, came out, was done last night right after the verdict, where I'm up 6 points. 6 points from what we already were. We were leading fairly substantially. We're up 6 points in the Daily Mail poll. Now, maybe other polls come out and it says something differently. But a lot of people have predicted it because the public understands and they understand what's going on. This is a scam. There's a rigged trial. It shouldn't have been in that venue. We shouldn't have had that judge. He should have allowed us to have an election expert. We had the best expert, most respected expert, head of the Federal Elections Commission. He was all set to testify. He was waiting for 2 days. And when it was his turn, Bragg's people protested. And the judge knocked him out, said you can't testify. He actually said you can't testify for anything having to do with the trial. You can say what the federal elections is. Well, that doesn't help. Everybody knows that. But you can't testify. So essentially, he wasn't able to testify. Other people weren't able to testify. But with these people, they were able to use people salacious. By the way, and nothing ever happened. There was no anything. Nothing ever happened, and they know it. But they were as salacious as they could be, and it had nothing to do with the case. But it had to do with politics. And do you notice the timing? The timing was perfect. This case was dead. It was dropped by every agency, every governmental board. It was dropped by the highly respected Southern District. They said, no, there's no case here. It was dropped by federal election, and that's what it's about. This is about a federal election, not a state election. You're not even allowed to look at it. They took the state and the city, and they went into a federal election. They're not allowed. The people from federal election, Southern District, and Washington dropped the case. Everybody dropped the case. There was no case. Cy Vance dropped the case. And when Bragg came in, he said, this is the most ridiculous case I've ever seen. And who would have a certain person, again, gag order, who would have a certain person like this ever testify? He said, this is essentially one of the worst people I've ever seen ever to testify. He said, the craziest case I've ever seen. This is Bragg. Then when I announced I was running for president, long time later, they decided to revive this case. And they got a judge, Judge Marchand, who was responsible for another case that was also brought. It destroyed the life of a very good man, by the way. Destroyed the life of a very good man who went to prison once, and then they just put him in prison again because they said he lied. He didn't lie. I looked at the statements he made. In fact, he didn't remember something, and they put him in jail. Again, they've destroyed him. With me for many years, he was an honorable person. He was an honest man. And if you look at what he did, supposedly, it never happened. There's never been anything like this. Over the education of his grandchildren. Over, he didn't report that he had a car or 2 cars on his income. I don't know. I wonder how many people here have cars. I wonder how many people said, oh, gee, I have a car that's worth X dollars. How do you even figure it? And I guess you do have to report it, but I would say probably almost nobody does. Nobody even thinks about it. They put this man, they destroyed this man, but they put him in jail again because they didn't want him to testify. They didn't want him to testify. That's why he went to jail. They put him in jail twice. He's 77 years old. Now, normally I'd say that's an old guy, but I don't feel 77. Nobody ever says that about me. I'd like them to say, gee, we have to have a little sorrow for this man, because they just don't say that about me, but maybe I'm better off that way. I think I'm probably better off that way. But they put him in jail twice. And you have to see what they put him in jail. And he was threatened by the judge. This man was told, you're going to get 15 years in jail if you don't give up Trump. And he was told that. You're going to get 15 years in jail. And he made a plea deal because he didn't want to spend the rest of his life. And he was told that viciously. We're living in a fascist state. He was told that viciously. So you can go to jail for 4 months, 5 months, or you can get 15 years in jail. So do a plea. Almost who wouldn't do that plea? Everyone does those pleas. It's a horrible thing. There's a whole group of lawyers that fight that. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. But they destroyed his life. So many other things. You look at Southern District didn't want to bring the case. Nobody wanted to bring the case. And then you know who didn't want to bring the case most of all is Bragg. Bragg didn't want to bring it. But then he brought it, and they tried to make it a different case. They didn't say legal expense equal legal expense. Again, if I wrote down and paid a lawyer, and by the way, this was a highly qualified lawyer. Now, I'm not allowed to use his name because of the gag order. But, you know, he's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that. Took me a while to find out. But he was effective. He did work. But he wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. You know, they like to use the word fixer. He wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. At the time, he was a fully accredited lawyer. Now, he got into trouble not because of me. He got into trouble because he made outside deals, and he had something to do with taxi cabs and medallions, and he borrowed money. And that's why he went. And then he pled to three election violations. And as soon as I saw that, I said, I wonder why he did that. He pled. He took a deal. Now, he took a deal because he wanted to get off. In other words, I'll take a plea deal, and I want to get off. And he wanted to make a deal with the Southern District. And they wrote the worst report I think I've ever seen on any human being, other than the report that was written on James Comey by the Inspector General, a very great Inspector General, actually, wrote a report that was so bad. This one was possibly worse. The Southern District, the judge didn't let us use it. He said, it's hearsay. I said, it's not hearsay. Wouldn't let us use it. This is about the man. But he got in trouble for a very simple reason, because he was involved with borrowing a lot of money, and he did something with the banks. I don't know if it's defrauded the banks, but something happened. You guys know what it is. And then in addition to that, he gave up on 3 things where he wasn't guilty. In fact, they were going to testify in that. The head of the FEC, the Brad Smith, the election expert, #1 rated in the country, who was going to testify. He took a plea on 3 things. He just added them in because that gave him more bargaining power with respect to me. But the 3 things that he pled on, having to do with the election and having to do essentially a little bit with me, they weren't crimes. They weren't crimes. Nor is paying money under an NDA. So we have an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. It's a big deal, a non-disclosure agreement. Totally honorable, totally good, totally accepted. Everybody has them. Every company has non-disclosure agreements. But the press called it slush fund and all sorts of other things. Hush money, hush money. It's not hush money. It's called a non-disclosure agreement. And most of the people in this room have a non-disclosure agreement with their company. It's a disgrace. So it's not hush money. It's a non-disclosure agreement, totally legal, totally common. Everyone has it. And what happened is he signed a non-disclosure agreement with this person, I guess other people, but it's totally honest. You're allowed to make the payment. You don't have to make it. You can make it any way you want. It's a non-disclosure agreement. And he signed that. And there was nothing wrong with signing it. And this should have been a non-case. And everybody said it was a non-case, including Bragg. Bragg said, until I ran for office. And then they saw the polls. I was leading the Republicans. I was leading the Democrats. I was leading everybody. And all of a sudden, they brought it back. It's a very sad thing that's happening in our country. And it's a thing that I'm honored. In a way, I'm honored. It's not that it's pleasant. It's very bad for family. It's very bad for friends and businesses. But I'm honored to be involved in it because somebody has to do it. And I might as well keep going and be the one. But I'm very honored to be involved because we're fighting for our Constitution. The money that was paid legally. There was nothing illegal. In fact, the lawyer in creating the NDA, because at that time he was a fully accredited lawyer. He wasn't a fixer. I never thought of him as a fixer. The media called him a fixer, or the prosecutors called him a fixer. He was a lawyer, and he was fairly good. Later on, I didn't like what he did. I didn't like, for instance, I didn't like that when I became president, he went around and made deals with companies. When I heard that, he was gone. He was gone. And he had payments coming to him, and a lot of this involved things that are very simple. There was nothing wrong. This was standard stuff, all standard stuff. Everything involved was standard. There was no crime here. In fact, I just watched a couple of the reports. You watched Jonathan Turley, Andy McCarthy, Greg Jarrett. You look at all of these people, Mark Levin, all very talented people, great people, many more. And they don't know me, essentially. They don't know me. They're legal scholars and experts. But I look at them. I watched Turley this morning saying, there's no crime here. Everybody says there's no crime here, except for this DA that's got the city out of control with crime. It's absolutely out of control. So we have an NDA that was signed. We have legal expenses. And here's the thing on legal expenses. You have 100 where they say, they do a charge. I just recorded this out. Falsification of business records in the first degree. It sounds so bad. I said, wow. And even my own lawyers, I get very upset with them because they don't say what it is. They say, well, falsification of legal records is only a felony. Well, that's a lot. It's only they say, a misdemeanor. But they try and bring it up to a felony if there's 2 crimes. They have all these different things. The other thing is they missed the statute of limitations by a lot because this was very old. They could have brought this 7 years ago instead of bringing it right in the middle of the election. So they missed the statute of limitations. They did everything. Now, let me give you the good news. The good news is last night, we just got a report this morning, in the history of politics, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, somebody will find that I'm wrong, maybe, but I don't think so. They raised with small money donors, meaning like $21, $42, $53, $38, a record $39 million in about a 10-hour period. No, think of that. I like those people. Because so far, I guess it's backfiring. Now, I don't know. I'd rather not have it happen. I don't want to have it backfiring. I don't want to win this thing legitimately, not because they were stupid and did things that they shouldn't be doing. They shouldn't have brought this case. They were saying it this morning. This is a case that should not have been brought. I watched Andy McCarthy say this is a case that should not have been brought. And that was this morning. But they all say that. Every legal scholar has said it. And these are great people. They really understand the law. The other thing, a poll just came out. The first poll, I don't know, maybe others will be bad. But a poll just came out a little while ago. The Daily Mail. Does anybody read the Daily Mail? It's very good. They have a good poll. At least I like it today. And the Daily Mail just came out with a poll, and it has Trump up 6 points in the last 12 hours. 6 points. 6 points since this happened. Who thought this could happen? Because the people of our country know it's a hoax. They know it's a hoax. They get it. You know, they're really smart, and it's really something. So we're going to be appealing this scam. We're going to be appealing it on many different things. He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything. The judge was a tyrant. And you got to see that with Bob Costello, a fine man. I've never seen anything like it. And neither has anybody that was in that courthouse where he demanded that the courthouse be cleared. Now, the good news is most of the people in the courthouse were the media. And anybody that was in the media, if you're fair, you'll say, wow. That was anger. That was crazed. He was crazed. And the reason that Bob Costello acted a little bit upset, which I think he has a right to, was that every question he was being asked was being objected to by the other side and sustained by the judge. Sustained. I think he did it many times. I don't know what the number, many times. Even I was sitting there saying, and these were basic questions. And I never saw anybody treated that way by a judge. And I've been treated very badly by 2 other judges also, because it's all the same thing. And it all comes out of the White House. Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. He's the worst president in the history of our country. The most incompetent. He's the dumbest president we've ever had. He's the dumbest president, most incompetent president. And he's the most dishonest president we've ever had. And so many of he's a Manchurian candidate. You take a look at the way he treats China, Russia, so many others. You know, I ended the Russian pipeline. It was dead. He comes in and he approves it. And he gets $3.5 million, meaning $3.5 million is paid to the family, his family, from the mayor of Moscow's wife. And I said, where did that come from? Nobody wants to talk about it. But he's a very big danger to our country. And the only way they think they can win this election is by doing exactly what they're doing right now. Win it in the courts because they can't win it at the ballot box. So we're going to show them that, we're going to fight. It's actually, I don't know, it's something where I'm wired in such a way that A lot of people would have gone away a long time ago. They would have gone away after impeachment hoax number 1. That was a total hoax. I had great support from the Republican Party, though. Then you had impeachment hoax number 2. And then they formed the committee. How about they formed the committee of thugs, the J6 committee of thugs. And they took their records and they destroyed all of the records after the committee was abandoned because those records were great for us. Now, can you imagine if Republicans did that? Everybody would have been in jail by now. Think of it, the unselect, I call it the unselect, they call it select committee, I call it the unselect committee of thugs. They meet, it's 100% Democrat and 2 past Republicans that are no longer Republicans, that are no longer in business anymore, thank you. But it was all Democrats and 2 wayward Republicans. Liz Cheney and crying Adam Kinzinger. He cries every time he goes on television. He's the most emotional human being I think I've ever seen. And that was our representatives. These 2 people were our rep. So they had all this stuff that they're leaking. And then when it came time to look at the records, like where the police said and the Capitol Guard said that I supplied, think of it, that I recommended as many soldiers or National Guard as you want. 10,000. If you had 500, you wouldn't have had a problem. There wouldn't have been a J6. But Nancy Pelosi and the group didn't want it. Anyway, so they have testimony to all of that, that I did not attack the Secret Service agent in the front of a car. You know, these are strong people. And I supposedly went to the driver, and I grabbed him around the neck. And he rebuffed me. And then I went to the other guy, who I think is a black belt in karate. And he's slightly younger than me. Maybe 35 years, 40 years, 50 years. And I grabbed him around the neck and said, he's a black belt in karate. They know how to get somebody from around their neck. They would have gone like this, and that would be the end of that. Actually, I had a friend that said, you shouldn't dispute that. That makes you look like the toughest cookie we've ever seen. You should have let that go on. But the fact is, it never happened. It was all made up. And that was proven to be made up. It proved to be a false story. And they deleted and destroyed all of that information, every ounce of it. We're dealing with a corrupt government. We have a corrupt country. Our elections are corrupt. Our borders are open. Our borders are going to be closed very soon. November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. Now, when I say that, because my people are always saying, do this, because we're fighting for America, DonaldJTrump.com. I hope everybody watching right now, DonaldJTrump.com, because it really makes a difference. They have a lot of money on the other side. I don't know where they get it. Nobody knows where they get it. But for some reason, they get money. But they're not on the side of our country. In many ways, I think they hate our country. Who on earth can want open borders where people are allowed to pour in from countries unknown, from places unknown, from languages that we haven't even heard of? We have people sitting in schools with languages where very few people have ever even heard of these languages. It's not like Spanish or French or Russian. Languages unknown. We have people coming from corners of the globe, and many of them are not good people. Many terrorists, record levels of terrorism, record levels of terrorists have come into our country. Record. They've never seen anything like it. You know, there was a report that in 2019, I don't believe this, by the way, the media gave it, and it was good for me, believe it or not. They said in 2019, there were no terrorists recorded that came into our country. I don't believe that. I don't think that's possible. But 2019 was a Trump year. I don't believe that that could be possible. But they said no terrorists came into our country. So let's say it was close. Let's say it was close. But now record levels of terrorists, record levels, the highest level we've ever seen of terrorists are pouring into our country. You have China with just in the last few months, 29,000 people came in, and I looked at them on a line, and they look like perfect soldiers. They're almost all male. from 19 to 25. It looks like a recruiting exercise. They have beautiful tents. They have propane stoves. They have cell phones, the best you can buy. I said, what's going on? It looks like they're building an army right in our country. Now, I don't think that would happen, right? We're losing our country. And I really think that this is an event, what took place yesterday with this judge. Look, we have conflicted, but he's a crooked judge, and you'll understand that. And I say that knowing that it's very dangerous for me to say that, and I don't mind, because I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to save our country and to save our Constitution. I don't mind. So thank you. So we will continue the fight. We're going to make America great again. Very simple. When people fight MAGA, they say, we're going to fight. I watch Biden. We're going to fight MAGA. We're going to stop MAGA. It's make America great again. That's all it is. MAGA. Make America great again. Our country's in serious trouble. We owe $36 trillion. We were energy independent for the first time ever, and now we're begging Venezuela for oil. One statistic you have to hear. Venezuela was crime-ridden. Caracas, their cities, crime-ridden. 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They just reported a 72% drop in crime in the last year because all of their criminals, most of them, and the rest are coming in now, the ones that didn't come in. In Venezuela, their prisons have been emptied into the United States. Their criminals and drug dealers have been taken out of the cities and brought into the United States. And that's true with many other countries. The Congo has just released a lot of people from jail. Congo, Africa, just released a lot of people from their prisons and jails and brought them into the United States of America. This is what's happening to our country. And it's not sustainable by anyone. Little things like our kids can't have a Little League game anymore because you have tents and you have migrants living on the fields. That's the least of it. People are taking over our luxury hotels, migrants, and yet our veterans, our great veterans, are living on the streets like dogs. They're living on the streets. But migrants are living in luxury hotels in cities all over our country, run by Democrats. So it's my honor to be doing this. It really is. It's a very unpleasant thing, to be honest. But it's a great, great honor. We're going to do what I have to do. I'm going to do it. And the support has been, that's why I mentioned the number of $39 million. That's why I mentioned we're up 6 points. And we went up a lot over the last month because everybody saw it was a rigged deal. It was a rigged trial. But we're going to make America great again. We're going to make it better than ever before. November 5th, remember, November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country. Thank you very much, everybody.
So he didn't take any questions. He had said yesterday on True Social it was supposed to be a press conference. That's why I called it a press conference, because he called it a press conference on True Social. But there were no questions taken. So I'm sorry. I was hoping we'd get some Q&A. That was. Oh, hold on. Let's get a shot from outside. Do we have a shot from outside? There's outside there. Okay. We'll do a little shot from outside. What's going on out there? All right, we'll take some comments from you. Oh, there's some people outside. I don't know why we're hearing the radio broadcast there, but there are people outside you can hear. Someone's playing the radio. I can't really play the radio transmission. Anyways, You can see the scene at Trump Tower. So, yeah, I mean, he basically spent the first part just talking about various reasons that he thought it was a bad verdict and a bad case, and he shouldn't have been convicted convicted yesterday. And then he gave some of his criticisms of Biden and the Biden administration. I think those were the two main things. The two main things were being critical of the case against him, and then also being critical of Biden. Let me see what you guys thought. I'm going to take some comments from the chat here as we look at what's going on outside. What did you guys think? Hey, a quick thank you, by the way. Some people are saying free Trump, I think, outside the Trump Tower there. Hey, a quick thanks to Shiba B, DTB Streams, Yopo Popo. Thanks for your support, Yopo Popo. Yeah, Yopo Popo, the expert opinion that I've heard, I've listened to a bunch of experts on this. Most of them think he won't get jail time, but he could. He could. I think it's more likely than not he won't. But even if he does get some sort of jail sentence, he may not have to serve it while his appeal is going on. But I would say more experts than not think he won't get jail time. Hey, thanks to DTB Stream, Shiba B, Yopo Popo for your support, K-Nut, Lady Ortega, the one and only. I owe a couple thank yous here. Lunar Guardian, Grevin Share, Six Face, Jay-Z Gamer, RT96, Boomer Wow, K-Nut, Ava F, Pixel Panda. Thanks for your support. And there's one other person there. I think he was at Yoshima? Yoshums. And also over on Facebook, thanks for the Facebook stars, Pam Georgia Carver, Gina Tucker, Christy Lane, and Alicia Rivera. I want to take some of your guys' comments. What did you think of Trump's appearance? Going to take some of your comments right now. You can write to me on Twitter or on X at Lookner. Quick shout out also to Anaconda for subscribing on Twitch, and Qbat for subscribing on Twitch. Also eBiker, thanks for the bits on Twitch. I'm going to read some comments here from you guys. Kevin Grenda thought it was a mess. Hold on. Some of our viewers liked it. Some of our viewers did not like it. Marissa Pugliese, our viewer, thinks he's never going to jail. Well, hold on. I got it. He's playing music. I got to turn that down. I can't have the music playing. So let me turn things down here. Let me do this actually. I'm gonna I'll leave the video on, but I can't play the copyrighted music. So that's some video from outside Trump Tower you're looking at, which we'll have up there while we talk. Oh, thanks to McLean33, who thinks if he gets only probation, I feel like the trial was a joke. What's the point in a 34-count felony conviction to just slap him on the wrist? So, some of the things he could get are probation, fine, community service, house arrest, in theory, jail time. A number of experts have said because he's a first-time offender and because it's a non-violent crime, they think he won't get jail time. But we'll just have to see what the judge says. We'll have to see. That's July 11th is when the sentencing is. Thanks to McLean33. Let's see here. One of our viewers mentioned him voting in Florida. He actually can vote in Florida. What I've seen in articles is that as long as he is not imprisoned in New York, he can vote in Florida, because I believe the Florida felon voting law is if you're a convicted felon in another state, you only lose your vote in Florida if you've also lost your vote in that other state. And in New York, convicted felons can vote as long as they're not incarcerated. So as long as he's not in jail, he can vote in Florida, even though where he lives, even though he would be a convicted felon, as I understand it. A conservative dad writes in, if you think Merchan won't jail Trump on July 11th, you have blinders on. Don't hug me, bro, thinks the speech was absolutely insane. So much whining and like 95% lies. News guy Philly said he called Cohen a sleazebag. Did he violate the gag order? So I know that Trump's lawyers said last night they're still under a gag order. Trump today said he's still under a gag order. I'm not sure about that, and I don't know what the gag order involves. I'm not a lawyer or a legal expert. As I understood it, a big part of the gag order, as I understood it, maybe I'm wrong about this, was to make sure he got a fair trial. Now, the jury has already been excused. They've already they've already convicted him and been excused. So I don't know, strictly speaking, what the gag order prohibits him from doing if it's still in effect. And also, I would think it's possible that even if he violated it, the judge might be a bit less because the jury has already, weighed in. And so now it's up to the judge to do the sentencing. So even if he technically violated the gag order, maybe there's less of a chance of it actually resulting in any kind of punishment, just because the jury has already voted. Jury's already made their verdict, given their verdict. I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer, not a legal expert. Just a thought I had. Let's see here. Jeff Orange wrote down that Jeff said sarcastically, he said, now that I've heard from Trump, this changes everything. He was a total victim. Jeff doesn't actually believe that. He was writing it in sarcastically. Thanks, Jeff, for writing in. Let's see here. Again, I can't play this right now because they're playing loud music out there. So if I put this on, you're going to hear loud copyrighted music. So I would have the audio on, but I can't at the moment because of the loud music. But we got some video going on for you. That's outside of Trump Tower. Debbie Powers thinks he won't spend any time in jail. Papa Steve says if they put him in jail, there will be riots. Hey, thanks, Mr. Hammond. Mr. Hammond thinks if he wins, he'll try to get a third term somehow. Thanks for your support, Mr. Hammond. Thanks for your support, 49552801 as well. Thanks also, Adventurer. Adventurer thinks the trial was a joke and that Trump's rambling was a joke. And that Bidenomics is a joke. That's what Adventurer thinks. I did notice that during the speech, after a while, CNN cut out of the speech. And then MSNBC cut out of the speech. I don't know that Fox ever did. I think Fox might have stayed with it the whole time. Fox sometimes will cut out of Trump speeches. I think they might have stayed with it the whole time today, but I didn't check to make sure. I actually, CNN and MSNBC stayed with it for a bit longer than I thought they would. Tommy Guy said Fox stayed with it. But again, sorry. Hold on a second here. So Trump Trump called it a press conference yesterday, so I assumed it would be questions, but he didn't actually take any questions. I don't know if there was a plan to take questions, but just so people know, the reason I was calling it press conference is literally from Trump's True Social post saying it was a press conference. Let's see. Let me take some more comments from you guys. Lithrone says it was a campaign speech. Yeah, I mean, it basically, it felt like, I'm not surprised he did some campaign stuff. I mean, it is the time of the campaign. Also, he did promote the website. He talked about that they made he said they made, what did he say, about $35 million in small donations yesterday after the verdict. Chappie thinks he called it a press conference so people would show up. I wonder if maybe there was a plan to take some questions, or maybe he didn't know, He could have taken questions if he wanted to. I mean, ultimately, it's just up to him. Ultimately, it's up to him to decide in the moment whether he wants to take questions or not. He's done it sometimes, though. I thought he was going to. I mean, he could have even picked what reporters he asked. Madam Aurora thinks he will do present time. He could have just picked the reporters and taken a few questions from the reporters that he wanted to, if he wanted to. What I don't know though is, and I said this yesterday, and I just don't know how it works, but I mean, you heard him speak, so he was very critical of the judge again, basically, implied that the judge is being told what to do by Democrats and that saying the Biden administration is orchestrating the whole thing. And so very critical of the judge and the trial and the justice system and denying he did anything wrong. So how will that factor into sentencing? I don't know. The judge is supposed to base his sentence on various factors. I don't know if that's one of them. It could be. I don't know. So, if he comes out for the next 5 weeks and is just constantly saying the judge is corrupt, the judge is being ordered to do things by the Democrats, this is rigged, and is that going to affect the sentence that the judge ends up giving? Beats me. Has any of the jury spoken yet, says Boo Boo. I am not aware that any of the jury members have spoken yet. I was saying a couple days ago that I thought that perhaps with members of the jury, there could be this question, I don't know, but some of them might have this question like, do I go public and make some money, but do I want to go public because then some people might not like what I did and then I don't want to deal with that? So, and then honestly, just to be, straightforward and honest about it, I would think if you're a juror, you probably make more money if you're the first one to start speaking. So, and by the way, I have no problem with a juror if as long as they went in there and they did their duty, they did their civic duty, they served for weeks on this case, and if they did their best to just make a decision based on the evidence, I have no problem with them making money after. So I'm not criticizing them for making money. I mean, if somebody wants to pay them for their story, fine with me. But I don't know if any of them are going to want to go public. It's an interesting question to me, and it would be an interesting decision to have to make. If somebody calls you up and says, I'll offer you X amount of dollars to do an interview, how do you balance the financial gain with maybe there's stuff you don't want to deal with. Maybe you think you might be threatened if you went public. Maybe you think that you might have friends who who might be upset with you, or family members, and you don't want to deal with that. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some of the jurors are dealing with those kind of questions. Mike Jones Jr. says, I would take it to my grave. Mortz thinks it would be too dangerous to expose their identities. Pew P says, a juror making money off the case, that's not right at all in any way. Again, if somebody went in there just to serve, and that's not why they served on the jury, and they did their civic duty, and then somebody after a news network wants to pay them, and because the news network if the news network runs some big interview with a juror, they're going to be making money off the ads. So I don't personally have a problem with that. As long as the person did their civic duty and, they made a good faith effort to be a good juror and made a good faith effort to consider the evidence and apply the law to the best of their ability. To me, if somebody wants to pay them after, that's up to whoever wants to pay them after. Zaichion says everyone got to eat. Oh, it already happened. In case, I don't know, the press conference already happened. So if you want to watch the press conference, rewind. It already happened. Should I change the headline? Moments ago. How about this? Moments ago, Trump speaks day after guilty verdict. That way, people can know if they're looking now, they can know you can just rewind it. You can rewind this broadcast and check it out. If there's no music playing, I'll turn the audio on here. By the way, oops. Let me take a few more comments. I want to take some more comments from you guys. But let me just do this real quick. Put that there. I know it can be a little confusing if people tune in. Rick DeMarco says the judge is going to give him significant prison time. That was the whole point of the whole sham trial. That's what Rick says. Trillion says trial over. Why is Trump still over the gag order? The only sources I have that Trump is under a gag order is Trump and his lawyer are saying it. I don't know specifically. I can't guarantee he is. And if he is, I'm not sure how it works. Maybe the normal thing is for a gag order to last until the sentencing. I'm not sure. Buffalo Women says, I hope the jurors' names don't come out. Let me see what the volume is here. What's the volume situation? Or what's the sound situation? Are we getting music here, or do we have some regular audio without music? Oh, there we go. We've got a little natural sound for you guys. Oh, no, I'm hearing some music. Yeah, I'm hearing music, sorry. Joe Hart, our viewer, thinks we will know 3 jurors within a week or within 1 week. There's always talkers and some want to make money. Mandelbrot thinks lack of contrition is a factor in sentencing. Let's see here. Hang on. I am just checking. I am just checking to see if there are any more Trump updates. And look, as the campaign goes, if there's big events involving Trump and Biden, we will cover them. We cover all kinds of live breaking news here at Agenda Free TV without an agenda. If you like the broadcast, if you like this kind of coverage, subscribe and follow to the channel. Subscribe to and follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. Also, real quick, we cover all kinds of news here. I don't know when big news is going to happen. I knew this was going to happen today, but generally speaking, I don't know when big news is going to happen, when I'm going to jump on the air. So one great way for you to find out when we're going live, when big news happens, so you don't miss a stream, is we have our own notification system. It works really well. You sign up once, and you get sent a notification every single time we go live, right before we go live. We have this set up through Discord. So if you want to sign up for our free notifications, the mods will post the link to that in the chat right now. You can also find that in the description of this broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. But sign up to the free notifications. They work really well, and that way you'll get notified when I am going live to cover big breaking news. We'll take a few more comments here. I don't even know, we've seen this footage like this in the last day from New York City. I mean, I saw some footage of a few people gathered outside Mar-a-Lago yesterday after the verdict. I'm not aware that there were gatherings of people like anywhere in the country, like significant size gatherings. Maybe it's just a different time. I mean, if this had happened, if this verdict had happened 4 or 6 years ago, would there have been bigger crowds? Because again, there were, but I would have think if there were significant big gatherings somewhere in the United States with pro or anti-Trump demonstrators, I might have seen it. But except there were some in New York. It's not like these are that big crowds. But for the most part, I'm not aware that in most of the country there were significant gatherings of people either way after the verdict. Pam Turner says, I don't think any family members were there. Yeah, we didn't see any family members today at that appearance. Suzanne Wallach says, seems like people are getting exhausted with all the crazy. True Montour says, because we have jobs. Hey, thanks to Creek Dreamer, by the way. I appreciate that, Creek Dreamer. Gregory Pelletieri says, it's very peaceful here. There's both sides, but everyone is respectful. Lots of police. Oh, was Eric there? I'm sorry. One of our viewers, K-Nut, says that Eric was there today. I shouldn't have said that because I wasn't looking at the crowd. I mean, we saw Trump walk in, and I didn't see the crowd. I was watching Trump himself. So it's very possible that family members were there off camera, right? And also they could have been in the building because it's Trump Tower, but they could have been downstairs. So I apologize. I shouldn't have said that because I wasn't looking at a crowd shot the whole time. I was just looking at the single shot of Trump. So I was just going off of what I saw beforehand. So, okay, Michael Sotart says Eric was there. A couple of our viewers said Eric was there, so I'm sorry about that. No, I'm not aware that Ivanka was there. Am I going to cover Biden's speech later today? No, with the Biden or Trump appearances, I only cover them if there's something kind of particularly noteworthy or different or interesting about them. So if Trump gives like a regular campaign speech or Biden gives like a regular speech on some topic, that's normally not something I'm going to cover. If there's some kind of special event, I mean, today was him speaking the day after getting convicted of 34 felonies, that I'll cover. Don't Hug Me Bro thinks Trump is coming out like this, hoping the judge goes easy on him to be the opposite of this judge hates me and wants to put me in jail. But with the counts, he has to go to jail for some time. That's what our viewer Don't Hug Me Bro thinks. Laura, our viewer, thinks that part of the sentencing takes into account how remorseful, if at all, the defendant is. Calling the judge a tyrant, which he did today, isn't going to go in his favor at all. That's what Laura thinks. He did use the word tyrant today. That's a good point by Laura. One thing he said about Biden today, I don't know if I've heard him say this before. I've definitely heard him say Biden is the worst president we've ever had. He likes to say that. At one point he said today, Biden is the dumbest president we've had, right? I don't know if I've heard him say that. That kind of hits a little different. Maybe he has. I don't watch all his speeches. I've definitely heard him say, he frequently says Biden is the worst president. But he did use the word dumbest today. I don't know that I've heard him say that. I feel like I certainly don't hear him say that often. But I don't know that I've ever heard him just use that particular word. Jamie says he has. Again, I don't listen to all his speeches. I do listen to a bunch of them, though. I don't think he usually says that. So I thought that was interesting. Also, I wrote down, there was one thing he said, which I think maybe was an off-the-cuff remark. I don't know if he'll say this again. At one point, he said that he was talking about the people coming across the border. He was complaining that too many migrants are being allowed to come across the border illegally. And at one point, he said that we have people coming across the border with languages we haven't heard of. Languages we haven't even heard of. And I think that was probably an ad lib. And I'm guessing he might not say that again. I don't remember him saying that before. So again, it sounded like maybe something that wasn't planned. Editor Larry says he has said that before. I have never heard him say that before. But again, I don't watch every single one of his speeches. Because, the different countries. He'll talk about the countries that people come from, like Venezuela. But clearly it's not like people in Venezuela speak a language that we haven't heard before. Anyways. So maybe he has said it before and I just never heard it. But let's see. All right, we'll take a few more comments. If you have any more comments, you can write to me on X @Lookner. Again, if you want to see him speak, you can rewind the broadcast. We played the whole thing, and you can go back and watch his whole speech. He called it a press conference originally, but he didn't end up taking questions. Yes, CRT pointed out that Biden is supposed to deliver remarks on the Middle East later today. I'm not going to be covering that. I'm not aware that there's going to be some kind of big announcement there. If I hear that he's going to make some huge announcement, huge policy change, I'd cover it. But I don't cover all of the, just the speeches by the different candidates. Yeah, in terms of the Biden speaking today, Biden will deliver remarks on the Middle East today. Later today. Do they have a time up for that? Oh. Hey, you know, Biden is speaking soon. I thought it was later. It's supposed to be in 20 minutes. I should cover that. Maybe we'll watch Biden in 20 minutes. Guys, Biden is speaking in 20 minutes. So we can show that. I might as well stay on the air, right? Yeah, I think we're going to watch it. I mean, we're here. We're here. It's in 18 minutes. It's in 18 minutes. All right, well, we got to watch it. Let me get it ready to go. I'll get it ready to go for you. We'll watch it. We're going to stick with it. We're going to watch Biden in 18 minutes speak on the Middle East, and then that'll be the last part of our broadcast. I thought it was later today. Hang on a moment here. Oops. You know what? Give me 2 seconds here. Let me get something on the screen for you. There we go. How do I do this? Okay. There it is. There it is, guys. Let me post on our social media that we're going to cover this. It's special extended coverage for you. Special extended coverage, guys. For you. Let me post on our social media, just let people know that we are covering this, because I didn't even know that we would be covering it. Let's see. Coming up, Biden gives remarks about Middle East. We are live now. We are extending our stream covering Trump's remarks so that we can also cover Biden speaking live in 15 minutes. Watch here. Stream here. Okay, I'm posting it on our social media. Stream is here. Okay. So special bonus coverage. Special bonus coverage. Hey, any of the mods, I don't know if any of the mods can do this. It would be good if we could, I don't know if it'll, because it's not a new stream, will it post in the Discord? Will it post in the Discord that we're like, because it's not a new stream. It'd be nice if we could send out notify people in the Discord that we're actually covering Biden speaking. We'll see what if any of the mods knows how we might be able to do that. I don't know how we could do it. But you can see he's speaking in 14 minutes. RJ says we can post an update. Okay, thanks, RJ. I'll message. Kinetic says we can post it. Danny might be able to do it. Hang on 1 second here. Let me message Danny. Guys, give me 30 seconds. Okay. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Okay. So Biden is speaking. We're going to watch him speak live. We're doing special bonus coverage here. We were on the air. We've just covered Trump speaking in New York. And we're going to watch Biden speak live in just a few minutes on the Middle East. And I'll see if I can find you anything about this. And I'll take some more comments from you guys. But again, bonus coverage. Bonus coverage. Are we going to cover the debate? I'll probably do a stream on it. The thing is, I don't know that I'll have, if I have footage of the debate, I'll definitely show it. I don't know that I'll have footage of the debate. So we may do like a post show or something like that, or a pre-show and a post show for the debate. Again, I just don't know if I'll have footage to show. My assumption is that I won't have footage of it. But I'd like to have footage of it, but I don't know that I will. Jeff says the AP reported Israeli troops were in the center of Rafah city and expanding their operations. Maybe that's a reason for Biden's speech. Maybe cutting off weapons now. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks, Jeff. I don't know if he's going to announce anything in particular. I haven't heard that he's going to announce any kind of specific policy change. But we'll see. You know, another thing is, will he say anything about? He's supposed to speak about the Middle East. Will he say anything about the Trump? I don't think he personally has said anything about. Like on camera about the Trump verdict yesterday. Oh, Danny posted in the Discord. Thank you. Awesome. Oh, thank you so much, Jeffrey Oren, for your support. I really appreciate that, Jeffrey. It's very kind of you. Jeffrey Oren, thank you. We got about 9 minutes until Biden speaks. We're bringing you live coverage of Biden's remarks in the Middle East. It's extended coverage. We were on the air anyway, covering Trump. And I found out that he was about to speak. I didn't realize he was speaking so close to. I didn't realize he was speaking so close to when Trump was speaking. Hey, thanks so much, Dom, for your support. I really appreciate it, Dom. Thank you. So special bonus coverage today. And Red Squirrel 82. Thanks, Red Squirrel. Red Squirrel says, I like extended streams. Thanks also to Creek Dreamer 62. Hey, let me shout out our moderators while we're here waiting. Richard Williams, RJ, thank you. Kinetic, big thanks. Linda Belk and Larry, thanks for moderating. And K. Lowry Body. She has been moderating over there on Facebook. You know, I saw Facebook, I saw one of the subscriber badges, but now I'm not seeing others. Are the subscriber badges still not working? Christina Neal is moderating. What's going on with the subscriber badges? It's still not fixed, is it, over there on Facebook? I'm going to have to message them again. There's been a whole issue with the subscriptions on Facebook being all messed up. Thanks also to our Twitch mods, Big Ball of Yarn, Bastion Girl, David Green, Hearsay, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, Sarah, Papa Bear, and Surly Dev. Sorry. Oh, thanks, Eve Richards, for the Facebook stars as well. Thanks, Eve. Appreciate that. Yeah, again, I'm very sorry on Facebook about the subscriber badges. I'm working with them to get that fixed. Let's see if I have here. Jeff thinks that Biden may hold off on remarks about Trump's verdict because Hunter Biden goes on trial next week. Yes, that is true that Hunter Biden's gun charges trial starts next week. I read that trial is supposed to take about maybe 2 weeks. We'll probably cover the verdict of that trial. Norman Zolkos says, I am in business and my personal view of the Trump trial scares me. If a state can stretch a misdemeanor into a felony and disregard the statute of limitations, then they can do anything. So 2 things. First of all, stretching a misdemeanor into the felony. The law in the state says that there are two kinds of crimes in New York for falsifying business records, and one of them is a felony. So if you have a problem with that, you have a problem with the law as it's written, because literally in New York, the law says falsifying business records in the first degree is a felony, and here's what that is. And falsifying business records in the second degree is a misdemeanor, and here's what that is. So it's not like they took a misdemeanor law and they stretched it during the trial. It's literally on the books there that they have a felony law. So just to be clear, if you have a problem with that, you have a problem with the actual law they passed. Second of all, the statute of limitations question. So Trump can appeal the statute of limitations violation if he thinks there's been one. As I understand it, I believe the issue is in New York. The statute of limitations doesn't apply while somebody is living outside the state. And Trump, for a lot of the time since the stuff happened with the Stormy Daniels payment and all that, was living not in the state. So again, that is something that he could appeal on, and the appellate court can weigh in if they think that there's been some misapplication of the or lack of failing to apply the statute of limitations. But these are legal. That's a legal question. So if he wants to appeal that, he can appeal that. Thanks for writing in, Norman Zolkos. Dory Rowe thinks it seems like a terrible idea for Trump to disparage the man sentencing him. She means the judge. Thanks, Dory, for writing in. Oh, I'm sorry. PW360 sent me something interesting. Margaret Brennan from CBS News said that 2 U.S. officials indicated that Biden's remarks will be significant, but little detail yet on what that means. Earlier today, IDF confirmed its forces are in central Rafah. Secretary Blinken also said earlier that the situation in Gaza is dire and that distribution of aid is being impeded. So again, I don't know specifically what he's going to say. In his remarks today. So we'll have to see. Thanks, PW360, for writing in. Yes, the Israeli military said today that its forces had advanced into central Rafah. Hang on 1 second here. So just in minutes, President Biden will be making remarks live on the Middle East, and we are bringing you live coverage of that. I'm trying to find, if I can find it, the statement here about Rafah from the Israeli military. I don't have the exact statement from them. I'm looking at their social media. But I've seen multiple reports that say they said they were in central Rafah in Gaza. Yeah, Manny Fabian with Times of Israel said this morning, the IDF confirms for the first time that it is operating in the center of Rafah. What did I do here? All right. It says, oh, any time now this is going to start. Any time now. Thanks for being with us. We are waiting for President Biden to speak on the Middle East, which we're covering live. Seeing if I can get you any updates at the moment. Our viewer Yoav says, let's hear it. Come on. I don't know how long he's going to speak for. I don't know if he'll take any questions. If you missed Trump's remarks, you can rewind this broadcast and watch them. Icancast says, do we know where he's giving the remarks? I know he's supposed to be at the White House later today. I assume he's at the White House. Maybe I read it before and I just forgot. So I'm just waiting with you guys. As soon as it starts, as soon as, yes, it's going to be in the state dining room. This is in the state dining room. That is where he is delivering these remarks. State dining room in the White House. Any moment now. Any moment now. That's all I can tell you. It was originally supposed to be 12:30. Yeah, I feel like often when he speaks like this, he's maybe like 10 minutes late. Oh, something just happened. What happened? Hold on. Here we go. They changed it. They changed it. There we go. There we go. Right there. Hold on. Let me do... I'm going to leave it like that. Going to leave it just like that. So they just put the graphic up. That says they switched graphics. Or actually, they just went live. They just kind of started the stream. So they normally only start the stream right when he's about to speak. Thanks for sticking with the coverage. Special bonus coverage. PW360 says Barack Ravid said on CNN he thinks it's possible Biden might publicly attack Netanyahu and perhaps order them to negotiate. Thanks for writing in PW360. Oh, thanks to J.K. Sinar for the gift memberships. I appreciate that, J.K. Sinar. Thank you. James Ryan. Thanks, James, our new member, James Ryan. Again, this is a little unplanned bonus coverage here. It is 12:37. We're supposed to start at 12:30. Ooh, you know what I'll see? No. This is at the White House in the State Dining Room. Wow, Michael Andren, that's so generous of you, Michael. Jeez, Michael gave 50 people memberships over there on YouTube. Thanks, Michael Andren. Michael Andren, I think it is. With the accent, maybe? Am I getting it right? Andren? Hey, thank you, Michael. That's so kind of you. Really appreciate your support. Michael Andren. Make sure you thank Michael and JK for the gift memberships if you got one. Very nice of them. Again, any moment now. That's the best I can tell you is any moment now. We're looking at the live White House feed. So at some point, it'll just start. Adrienne says, waiting. Yep. Steve Warrington says, all presidents are late. Hey, thanks also to Red Squirrel 82. I appreciate that, Red Squirrel 82. Thank you. I know I keep saying any moment now, but it really is any moment now. Thanks again to all of our moderators. Really appreciate it. Moderators. I don't have like a podium shot or anything. I can't show you. I don't have a shot of the room. I just have the graphic before he starts speaking. Sometimes I get those, I have a shot before I can show you, but I don't have that right now. I just have this. Yeah, if you want to see Trump's remarks, just rewind this broadcast. Trump spoke from roughly 11 to 11:35 or something. So if you just rewind it, you can find it on this broadcast. We're doing a little bonus coverage here because Biden was speaking after. Oh, somebody said, how do you rewind on Twitch? I don't know if all the platforms have rewind capability, but if they don't, you can go, like, I know YouTube and I think Facebook you can rewind too. Maybe X you can rewind too. You definitely can on YouTube. Yes, Los Gatos de Wilson says there's no rewind in Twitch. Now on Twitch, if it's after the fact and it's already aired and it's still posted, you can rewind then, right? I would think. I forget. CRT says you can't on X. I guess you can't on X. Again, we are just waiting to hear from President Biden. He was supposed to speak at 12:30. It is now 12:42. Oh, people are saying you on Twitch, you just go to the live VOD to watch it. Los Gatos also says you can check also the entire video on Twitch once the live stream is over. Our scheduled start time was 12:30. Andrea says all of the presidents are fashionably late. And to repeat, I don't know if he'll take questions. Maybe he'll speak on the Middle East and then somebody will ask him about the Trump verdict if he takes questions. The French Interior Minister said, Carl Quintanilla of CNBC, says AP said that the French Interior Minister said Paris security authorities have foiled a plan to attack soccer events during the Paris Olympics. I hadn't heard that before. Yes. AP, French security authorities foil a plan to attack soccer events during the Paris Olympics, according to the Interior Minister. They arrested an 18-year-old man from Chechnya on suspicion of being said to plan to attack soccer events. So again, it's 12:45. It was supposed to start at 12:30. Any moment now, it's going to start. I can't change the start time myself. So they will start any moment now. Jaden thinks, to those who don't understand the law, Trump's press conference was a perfect press conference. For those who do know the law, it was nothing but false information. That's what our viewer Jaden wrote to me just now about the Trump press conference. We will see what Biden has to say about the Middle East at any moment. Tis what it is says he won't take questions. He does sometimes. Sometimes he gives like a speech and then like it looks kind of unplanned where people will shout things at him at the end of the speech and he'll just take a few questions. It does happen sometimes. Sorry, no, I hate making you wait, but I can only go off of what they say the start time is going to be. This was kind of a new, this kind of came up, I think they announced it this morning. It wasn't something that was planned days in advance, I don't believe. Oh, the Times of Israel points out this will be Biden's first remarks since that incident last weekend where there was Israel said they attacked some Hamas members in Rafah, and then there was this Israel said that they accidentally caused a fire at a tent camp of Palestinians, and reportedly dozens of them died. That was that horrible fire in Rafah. So Times of Israel says he hasn't given a speech since then. So maybe he'll talk about that. Thanks to our viewer News All Day and Night. As we wait, it is 12:49. The White House press release had originally said 12:30. Rapid to Mald says, any moment now. And again, we're looking at the White House feed. It is live. The White House feed is live. Biden is supposed to later today welcome the Kansas City Chiefs to the White House. Yeah, I mean, I'm literally looking at the White House website, and it says that at 4:15 he will welcome the Kansas City Chiefs to the White House. But they had this at 12:30 was the time for this one. I haven't heard that it's gotten delayed, so. Oh, Barack Ravid with Axios says Biden to press for hostage and ceasefire deal in Gaza speech. Biden will urge Israel and Hamas to agree to a ceasefire and hostage deal in a speech today, according to 3 U.S. officials. That's what Barack Ravid says. So he's reporting again, Biden will urge Israel and Hamas to agree to a ceasefire and a hostage deal. Cozy Karma says, anyone who regularly watches C-SPAN knows it's extremely common for these things to be late. Yeah, I feel like normally once the stream goes live, they start. This is fairly late. Bonus coverage after the Trump remarks earlier. Lexa Fulmer says, could be something is going on. He's getting information first. Yeah, so I haven't heard any reports that something is going on. I mean, also they could be, who knows, maybe they're like changing the speech, or maybe there's something they have to do. I don't know. But maybe they're making some last minute changes. That I do not know. It's interesting. There was that, right, what was it, a couple months after the war started in October of last year? There was that like week or so when a bunch of hostages got released, and then they never reached another hostage deal after that. Yeah, I think it was earlier in the year that they were released. Or was it last year? I think it was maybe late last year. Late last year, it looks like. So I know I keep saying this, but any moment now. That's the best I can tell you, is any moment now. Hang on one sec here. Yeah, this is fairly late for when they, when they announce a time and then actually the live shot comes on their website. Like normally they've started by now. It's now 26 minutes late. Iconcast says, I wonder what's going on. K8 says, I've seen later. Red Silk says, we never know what the White House is dealing with, though. That is true. Maybe Biden is having some kind of conversation with a world leader. Kelpie says, I've had heaps of 30-minute delays. Thanks to all of our moderators. Really appreciate it. Richard Williams is over there. Thanks, Richard. Cynthia Moon. Danny James. Thanks, Danny. Linda Belk and Larry. Bastion Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, Hearsay, Idaho Star over on Twitch. I got that fired, McBritches. Sarah Papa Bear Surly Dev. K. Larry Body, Christina Neal over on Facebook. Thank you. We're still waiting, guys. Our viewer Norhan Beiruti thinks he's going to talk about the U.S. Belt Pier in Gaza that sunk. I don't think the pier sunk. The pier, it became like detached or something in like stormy weather, and they have to repair it. Yeah, I thought it was going to take over a week to repair. It was damaged by rough seas. It's being put back together. Again, this is the live White House feed. They had originally posted on their website, because I was just looking at it, they had said 12:30. So that's the best I can tell you. Reuters had it starting at 12:30. Oh, thanks to Renee McGee. I really appreciate that. Renee McGee, thank you. Sorry. Thanks. Hold on a second here. Do something real quick. The Trump event started fairly on time. It started pretty soon after 11. Thanks, Babalu, over there on for your kind words over there on X, and all of our X viewers. Sorry, if I had known, I would have told you. I would have said, come back at 1 for the broadcast. It's now 1:01 p.m. I've seen nothing that says it's been delayed. No, it's not. There's no need to refresh. It hasn't started yet. I mean, at some point soon, I think he'll either start or we'll hear that it's been delayed because it is. I mean, it is a half hour after. It's 32 minutes after the start time right now. One of our viewers said AP is saying 1:30. I don't know why they're saying that because I haven't heard anyone else report that. Again, the White House had on its website 12:30, and Reuters still has 12:30. So if it has been switched, I don't know why they're saying that. I haven't heard anybody else report that. Also, it is really strange because normally they would not start. Normally they only actually start the live stream pretty close to when he starts speaking. But they could have delayed it. Yeah, I mean, AP says 1:30. I don't know why they say that because I haven't seen that anywhere else. Barshman says, oh, he's about to start. Yes, guys, well, hold on. Reuters just went live, and I can't use the Reuters pool feed for this, but they just went live. So that makes me think it's starting very soon because I can now see the podium. Oh, but Reuters says, no, okay, yeah. Yeah, so I think he's going to start very soon because Reuters, you could not see the podium on Reuters, and now you can see it. That makes me think it's about to start. And somebody was just putting something on the podium. So I think we're just about there. That's my thought. There's a guy fixing the flag behind the podium right now. There's a lot of stirring going on in the room. There's definitely stirring. Again, I'm not allowed to show it to you because it's like the White House pool or something like that. But I can see it now. I can see it now. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll start 1:30. I don't know. But there are people in the room. They're trying to figure out, they're figuring out where to put the flags or something. Or whether they should move any of the flags. All right. But it's there. It's ready to go. Yeah, I know. I don't know why it's so late today. I didn't realize when I said we were going to do bonus coverage that it would take so long, but I appreciate you sticking around. I need, real quick, But I can see again. Reuters is live with their broadcast, and it's just the empty podium. So that suggests it is starting soon. What I'm going to do real quick, I need to do this. I'm going to take 1 minute here, and where's this thing? Oh, I'm going to take 1 minute, and if it does start, it'll just start because I have it set. You're literally watching the feed. So if he does start speaking, it'll during the next 1 minute, which I don't think he will, but if he does, it'll just start. So I'm leaving the feed up again. If he starts, it will start. But give me 1 minute. I'm coming right back. Thank you for your patience. We're still waiting. Oh, so I can tell you that there is a guy at the podium, and it looks like he's doing a sound check, I think. I can't show it, but I can see it. There's a guy at the podium at the White House, and I think he's doing some sort of check on something. I don't know if it's a sound check or something else, but he's standing there. Yeah, it looks like a guy who works at the White House, like a White House aide or something like that. He is checking his phone. He is standing at the podium with his phone. He's looking at his phone. I can see it. Oh, he just said something. Crap. What did he say? Be nice if I could hear it. Sorry. Maybe I can pull up what he said. Hang on. Let me see if I can pull up what he said right here. Might be able to pull it up on my phone. But I'm watching him. So again, it's not Biden yet, but there's somebody else at the podium. Let's see. Maybe he gave like a 2-minute warning or something. That's what I'm trying to find out, if he gave like a 2-minute warning. Okay. Hang on. I'm checking right now. Checking right now. Can I rewind here? No, I can't rewind on that one. Oh, I can. I can. Hold on. I'm going to see what he said. What did he say?
Okay. Is Kevin back there?
Oops, sorry. I'm obviously back.
And you all are good on audio here? Still okay.
He did an audio check and he said, you all are good on audio here. And people said they're good on audio.
Michaela, you all still getting my audio? Okay. Is Kevin?
Okay. I don't know why they said, I don't know why they originally said 12:30. That was literally posted on the White House website, 12:30. Now it is 1:13. But again, the podium is there. I can see it. Who knows? Maybe he had to talk to some leader or something like that. This was just scheduled, I think, this morning. Again, Axios is reporting that he's going to call for Israel and Hamas to reach a hostage deal. Now they're looking at the podium again. I bet it's going to be 1:30. It's just feeling like that right now. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I told you, it said it on the White House website, 12:30. They went live with their stream soon after 12:30. So I didn't know about this 1:30 thing. I don't know that I would have stayed on until 1:30 for it, but we're here now, so we're covering it. I wasn't misleading you, believe me. Now, the White House never updated their website. They had it at 12:30, and then after 12:30, it just disappears because the next thing is up. No, it didn't happen already. Oh, what I was going to mention is Axios is reporting that Biden will urge Israel and Hamas to agree to a ceasefire and a hostage deal in his speech that he's about to give. Jack Ball says AP is showing the podium now. Yeah, AP is and Reuters is. I think they're all using the same feed. No, I don't have the rights to show the podium. I'm not allowed to show the podium. I don't have the rights to it. But you know what? I said we're going to do bonus coverage, so we're doing bonus coverage. Okay, the podium's just sitting there. Oh, now there's a person on the right who just made a small adjustment to one of the flags behind the podium. She's adjusting the flag behind the podium, making a very small adjustment to it, making sure it looks right. And now she is walking away. And somebody else just walked by. I'll see if I can hear anything.
Kevin back there?
Now there's two people walking behind the podium, and they are looking at one of the flags, and they're making an adjustment to the eagle on top of the flag, straightening it out. They're straightening everything out. And now he's coming back and he's straightening out the eagle again on the flag, it looks like, or the top of the flag. Yeah, normally it's not this late. Again, my guess is because they scheduled it this morning and kind of put it together. That maybe that's why it kind of got, the timing got messed up. Jeff Oren says, please do not vote based on punctuality of speeches. Laughing emoji. Yeah, I mean, AP is live now. Reuters is live. They're all live. So we're just waiting. Maybe he'll start before 1:30. Reuters is zooming in and zooming out on the podium. Yeah, we were not, this was not planned coverage. We came on to cover the Trump appearance, the Trump speech, and decided to stay on the air to cover this. Mr. Showtime says, whoever made the schedule messed up. The woman is, guys, they are adjusting the flag again. She's making a slight adjustment to the flag on the right. She just tapped it with her foot. Scott says, I think they're having teleprompter problems. I haven't heard them. I haven't seen them adjust the teleprompters at all. They keep going over to one of the flags. Oh, hold on. Oh no, that's nothing. That's just Reuters audio. All right, the guy's at the podium again. Oh, somebody new at the podium. There's a new assistant at the podium now. New assistant at the podium. What's he going to say? We haven't seen him before. New guy. Looking around. Guy at podium looking around. Not saying anything. Walks away. Not there anymore. I wish I could show it to you. Red Silk says he could be on the phone with Bibi Netanyahu. Jane Jones thinks it'll start at 1:30. I do not. If I had known it was going to start at 1:30, I don't think I would have covered it. But we're here now. Yeah, CNN says now anytime Biden to speak at White House at any time. Everybody's reporting it. So these things happen, guys. These things happen. Though the White House does not have a feed of the podium. The feeds of the podium that I can see are these private news channels. They're news agencies. They're not the White House public feed. Hey, thanks, Jack Ball TV, our new member. Thank you, Jack Ball. It's 1:23. He's just going to end up starting at 1:30. Hang on a moment here. Thanks to everybody watching. Kristen McConnell Gates, Marty Swanson, Andrea Chantapolin, Silver Shadow, and others. I'm hearing a little noise in the room. What's going on there? Jonathan, I cover the Ukraine stuff when there are big developments. If there's really big developments, I will do a stream on it. That is the way it always is. Oh, yes, the White House website is now, says 1:20. Thanks. Pam Turner found out that the White House updated their website to 1:20 p.m. That's what it says on the White House website right now, 1:20 p.m. Well, it's 1:25. But just so you know, the White House website does say 1:20 p.m. Guy at podium. They did update the White House website. Yeah, CNN actually is showing a live shot of it too. So it's imminent. It's imminent. Homer Simpson says 13:20 instead of 12:30. Israel announced, I think earlier today, that their forces for the first time were in central Rafah in this conflict. Oh, Opt14 said Fox said we're in the 2-minute warning. Thanks for sticking around for the coverage, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for your patience. OP714 said Fox just said it's the longest 2-minute warning ever. I'm looking at the live shots. Marty says we'll never get this time back. Tucker White says longest 2 minutes in history. Soul Kai says I went to town and we're still waiting on him. Yeah, the website originally said 12:30, so it looks like it's going to be an hour late. Oh, he's coming out now. He's about to start. Watch, you're going to see him right now. Here he is.
Just checking this afternoon. Good afternoon. Before I begin my remarks, I just want to say a few words about what happened yesterday in New York City. The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed. Donald Trump was given every opportunity to defend himself. It was a state case, not a federal case, and it was heard by a jury of 12 citizens, 12 Americans, 12 people like you. Like millions of Americans who served on juries, this jury is chosen the same way every jury in America is chosen. It was a process that Donald Trump's attorney was part of. The jury heard 5 weeks of evidence, 5 weeks. And after careful deliberation, the jury reached a unanimous verdict. They found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts. Now he'll be given the opportunity, as he should, to appeal that decision just like everyone else has that opportunity. That's how the American system of justice works. And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years. And it literally is the cornerstone of America, our justice system. The justice system should be respected, and we should never allow anyone to tear it down. It's as simple as that. That's America. That's who we are. And that's who we'll always be, God willing. Now to another issue. I want to give an update on my efforts to end the crisis in Gaza. For the past several months, my negotiators of foreign policy, intelligence community, and like have been relentlessly focused, not just on a ceasefire that would inevitably be fragile and temporary, but on a durable end of the war. That's been the focus, a durable end of this war. One that brings all the hostages home, ensures Israel's security, creates a better day after in Gaza without Hamas in power, and sets the stage for a political settlement that provides a better future for Israelis and Palestinians alike. Now, after intensive diplomacy, carried out by my team and my many conversations with leaders of Israel, Qatar, and Egypt, and other Middle Eastern countries, Israel has offered a comprehensive new proposal. It's a roadmap to an enduring ceasefire and the release of all hostages. This proposal has been transmitted by Qatar to Hamas. Today, I want to lay out its terms for the American citizens and for the world. This new proposal has 3 phases. The first phase would last for 6 weeks. Here's what it would include: a full and complete ceasefire, a withdrawal of Israeli forces from all populated areas of Gaza, release of a number of hostages, including women, the elderly, the wounded, in exchange for the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. There are American hostages who would be released at this stage, and we want them home. Additional, some remains of hostages who have been killed would be returned to their families, bringing some degree of closure to that terrible grief. Palestinians, civilians would return to their homes and neighborhoods in all areas of Gaza, including in the north. Humanitarian assistance would surge, with 600 trucks carrying aid into Gaza every single day. With the ceasefire, that aid could be safely and effectively distributed to all who need it. Hundreds of thousands of temporary shelters, including housing units, would be delivered by the international community. All that and more would begin immediately. During the 6 weeks of phase 1, Israel and Hamas would negotiate the necessary arrangements to get to phase 2, which is a permanent end to hostilities. Now, I'll be straight with you. There are a number of details to negotiate to move from phase 1 to phase 2. Israel will want to make sure its interests are protected. But the proposal says if the negotiations take longer than 6 weeks, for phase 1, the ceasefire will still continue as long as negotiations continue. In the United States, Egypt, and Qatar would work to ensure negotiations keep going. All agreements, until all the agreements are reached and phase 2 is able to begin. Then phase 2, there'd be an exchange for the release of all remaining living hostages, including male soldiers. Israeli forces would withdraw from Gaza, and as long as Hamas lives up to its commitments, a temporary ceasefire would become, in the words of the Israeli proposal, the cessation of hostilities permanently, end of quote. Cessation of hostilities permanently. Finally, in phase 3, a major reconstruction plan for Gaza would commence, and any final remains of hostages who've been killed would be returned to their families. That's the offer that's now on the table, and what we've been asking for. It's what we need. The people of Israel should know they can make this offer without any further risk to their own security because they've devastated Hamas forces over the past 8 months. At this point, Hamas no longer is capable of carrying out another October 7th, which is one of Israel's main objectives in this war, and quite frankly, a righteous one. I know there are those in Israel who will not agree with this plan and will call for the war to continue indefinitely. Some are even in the government coalition. And they've made it clear they want to occupy Gaza, they want to keep fighting for years, and the hostages are not a priority to them. Well, I've urged the leadership in Israel to stand behind this deal, despite whatever pressure comes. And to the people of Israel, let me say this. As someone who's had a lifelong commitment to Israel, as the only American president who's ever gone to Israel in a time of war, as someone who just sent the U.S. forces to directly defend Israel when it was attacked by Iran, I ask you to take a step back and think what will happen if this moment is lost. We can't lose this moment. Indefinite war in pursuit of an unidentified notion of total victory will not bring Israel, and will not bring down, will only bog down Israel and Gaza, draining the economic, military, and human resources, and furthering Israel's isolation in the world. That will not bring hostages home. That will not bring an enduring defeat of Hamas. That will not bring Israel lasting security. But a comprehensive approach that starts with this deal will bring hostages home and will lead to more secure Israel. And once a ceasefire and hostage deal is concluded, it unlocks the possibility of a great deal more progress, including calm along Israel's northern border with Lebanon. The United States will help forge a diplomatic resolution, one that ensures Israel's security and allows people to safely return to their homes without fear of being attacked. With the deal, a rebuilding of Gaza will begin. Arab nations and the international community, along with Palestinian and Israeli leaders, to get it done in a manner that does not allow Hamas to rearm. And the United States will work with our partners to rebuild homes, schools, and hospitals in Gaza, to help repair communities that were destroyed in the chaos of war. And with this deal, Israel could become more deeply integrated in the region, including, it's no surprise to you all, including no potential historic normalization agreement with Saudi Arabia. Israel could be part of a regional security network to counter the threat posed by Iran. All this progress would make Israel more secure, with Israeli families no longer living in the shadow of a terrorist attack. And all this would create the conditions for a different future, and a better future for the Palestinian people. One of self-determination, dignity, security, and freedom. This path is available once the deal is struck. Israel will always have the right to defend itself against the threats to its security and to bring those responsible October 7th to justice. And the United States will always ensure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself. If Hamas fails to fulfill its commitments under the deal, Israel can resume military operations. But Egypt and Qatar have assured me, and they are continuing to work to ensure that Hamas doesn't do that. The United States will help ensure that Israel lives up to their obligations as well. That's what this deal says. That's what it says. And we'll do our part. This is truly a decisive moment. Israel has made their proposal. Hamas says it wants a ceasefire. This deal is an opportunity to prove whether they really mean it. Hamas needs to take the deal. For months, people all over the world have called for a ceasefire. Now it's time to raise your voices and demand that Hamas come to the table, agrees to this deal, and end this war that they began. Of course, there'll be differences on the specific details that need to be worked out. That's natural. If Hamas comes to negotiate, ready to deal, then Israel negotiations must be given a mandate, the necessary flexibility to close that deal. The past 8 months have marked heartbreaking pain. Pain of those whose loved ones are slaughtered by Hamas terrorists on October 7th. Hostages and their families waiting in anguish. Ordinary Israelis whose lives were forever marked by the shattering event of Hamas's sexual violence and ruthless brutality. And the Palestinian people have endured sheer hell in this war. Too many innocent people have been killed, including thousands of children. Far too many have been badly wounded. We all saw the terrible images from the deadly fire in Rafah earlier this week, following an Israeli strike against targeting Hamas. And even as we work to surge assistance to Gaza, with 1,800 trucks delivering supplies these last 5 days, 1,800, the humanitarian crisis still remains. I know this is a subject on which people in this country feel deep, passionate convictions, and so do I. This has been one of the hardest, most complicated problems in the world. There's nothing easy about this, nothing easy about it. Through it all, though, the United States has worked relentlessly to support Israeli security, to get humanitarian supplies into Gaza, and to get a ceasefire and a hostage deal to bring this war to an end. Yesterday, with this new initiative, we've taken an important step in that direction. And I want to level with you today as to where we are and what might be possible. But I need your help. Everyone who wants peace now must raise their voices and let the leaders know they should take this deal, work to make it real, make it lasting, and forge a better future out of the tragic terror attack and war. It's time to begin this new stage, for the hostages to come home, for Israel to be secure, for the suffering to stop. It's time for this war to end, for the day after to begin. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can you tell us, Donald Trump refers to himself as...
Okay, so that was President Biden. He gave some remarks about the Trump verdict right at the beginning. Maybe we'll replay his remarks about the Trump verdict. And then most of what he talked about was, he said there's a new plan, a new ceasefire deal that Israel is offering to Hamas, but he's encouraging both sides. He wants Hamas to take the deal, but he also acknowledged that Hamas might want some changes, and he's encouraging, Israel to be flexible and to work with Hamas. I mean, I think, I don't know that there's anything so new about the deal, especially when he said that, Hamas might want to change the details. It really seemed like the big point of what he was saying was, let's get a ceasefire deal and let's get the hostages home. So I know there's been other proposals discussed. So as far as I'm aware, maybe I'm wrong, as far as I'm aware, I don't know that there's been some huge breakthrough where there's some huge difference in what's being offered than what was before, especially when he said that Hamas might want some detail changes. So it really seemed to me to be more about encouraging them to both sides to reach a deal. That's from what I can gather. I haven't heard that there's some groundbreaking new thing there. And maybe there's, not to say I don't follow this day to day and all the specifics on what's said. So maybe if you follow this stuff really close, you can say, wow, he's using that language and he wasn't using that before, kind of thing. But, it certainly sounded like he thought there was going to have to be some negotiation to do. But he was strongly encouraging both sides to come to an agreement. Hey, real quick, I just want to replay the start of it, because at the start, he talked about the Trump verdict, okay? So let me just play you again what he said at the start. It was really quick about the Trump verdict. Let's just look at this again, if it works. Oopsie. I might have to hit refresh here. Right here, maybe?
That no one is above the law.
Here's where he talks about the Trump verdict.
Good afternoon. Before I begin my remarks, I just want to say a few words about what happened yesterday in New York City. The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed. Donald Trump was given every opportunity to defend himself. It was a state case, not a federal case, and it was heard by a jury of 12 citizens, 12 Americans, 12 people like you, like millions of Americans who served on juries. This jury is chosen the same way every jury in America is chosen. It was a process that Donald Trump's attorney was part of. The jury heard 5 weeks of evidence, 5 weeks. And after careful deliberation, the jury reached a unanimous verdict. They found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts. Now he'll be given the opportunity, as he should, to appeal that decision just like everyone else has that opportunity. That's how the American system of justice works. And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years, and it literally is the cornerstone of America, our justice system. The justice system should be respected, and we should never allow anyone to tear it down. It's as simple as that. That's America. That's who we are. And that's who we'll always be, God willing. Now to another issue.
All right, so that's what he said. That's what he said about the Trump verdict. Clearly, he does not like Trump claiming it was rigged and claiming there's fundamental issues with the justice system. So, anyways, that I wanted to replay that. As for this whole Middle East thing, I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen if there's going to be a ceasefire deal or not. I just have no idea. Now, Joyce Karam, who is a Middle East reporter, she says this is the first elaborate public endorsement of a plan since the war began. Again, there's been so many proposals and plans about the Gaza war. The way I look at these things is like, I kind of started tuning out the specific details of the proposals because there's just been so many of them, and so are they going to work out a deal or not? I just don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I just know like the last few months, you'll always see these news items about, oh, there's a new hostage proposal. In this many weeks, this many hostages will be released. And then these many prisoners will be released. And it's just, there's been so many of these things that I just kind of stopped paying attention to the specifics. And I was just like, let me know if they reach a deal, because they haven't. We'll see what happens. It's interesting that he's coming out and really giving this speech and making a big speech about it and strongly encouraging them to reach a deal. So maybe he thinks that there's a better chance of this happening. J.D. Riddle says these proposals are ongoing. Hindsight says, I hear you, Steve, it's getting tiresome. Yeah, I just don't know, at a certain point they'll reach a deal or they won't. And I don't know enough to know that is this new proposal really anything like strongly different significantly than what they've been offering before? I don't know. Hang on, I'm just trying to find something here. Mike thinks it is. Hindsight thinks not really. Yeah, Biden, the general idea, he said it's like a 3-stage proposal. And in stage 1, there's a ceasefire. And then some of the hostages are released and Israel pulls its military out. And stage 2 is a permanent end to the ceasefire. And the rest of the hostages are released. And phase 3 is the reconstruction of Gaza. These are any proposal, I think, for a ceasefire is going to be something like that. But again, I don't follow all of these day-to-days on the proposals. So there might be, if you do, there might be certain things in there where you're like, wow, that's different. But at a certain point to me, it's like, let's see if they do. At a certain point to me, we all know generally what the proposal is going to be. It's going to involve some sort of ceasefire, some sort of hostage exchange, some sort of Israel giving prisoners in exchange for hostages, some sort of reconstruction. So at a certain point, they either agree to some variation of this or they don't. You know? And that's how I've been thinking about these hostage negotiations. You know, with the weeks, this many hostages, this many weeks, this many prisoners. At a certain point, they either want to make a deal or they don't. That's my thought on it. And they will or they won't. So, you know, on the one hand, the details are important. But on the other hand, I've been saying the last few months, as these stories have come out, these detailed stories about, oh, here's the latest hostage negotiation proposal. And it's like, look, they'll figure it out if they want to make a deal. And if they don't, that's my thought. They'll figure it out or they won't figure it out. That's just my thought. I don't think, personally, I don't think, like with exchange of hostages, that a deal's falling apart because one side wants 10 more than the other. Maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, so anyways. And who knows what specifics they're talking about behind the scenes. Hang on 1 second here. Paul Vest thinks it won't work. It's a perpetual war. So again, I don't know. I don't know if I have not heard anything reliable that says like the big news is that there's some big new thing about this proposal. You know, I haven't heard any kind of reliable reporting saying like, wow, I can't believe that Israel is now offering this. That's going to make a huge difference. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I wonder if they've posted any kind of text of his speech. Let's see. No, they haven't posted it yet. All right, I'll take a couple comments. Any comments? Any comments on what Biden had to say? I'll say Biden in the headline. Biden urges Hamas and Israel to reach deal. Okay, how's that? Biden urges Hamas and Israel to reach deal to end war. Yeah, if you missed, we did coverage of Trump's appearance this morning. You can rewind this broadcast and see that. Jane Jones says he took no questions. Wessie's Corner Emporium says it's over when Israel says so. Rob Fossil says, I read a headline about Hamas being willing to negotiate, but I didn't take it seriously. Mariko Brown thinks it's not going to happen. Cloud Sleeper says, it sounded like a general call for peace, nothing unexpected or wild there. Yes, so again, he said this first phase of this plan would last for 6 weeks. It would include a full and complete ceasefire, withdrawal of Israeli forces from all populated areas of Gaza, the release of a number of hostages, including women, the elderly, and the wounded, in exchange for the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. That's a summary that BBC posted. And this is just some. And then he said in phase 2, all the remaining hostages would be released. And in phase 3, it would be a permanent ceasefire. And then in phase 3, there would be some kind of a reconstruction of Gaza and rebuilding of Gaza. He didn't really get into a huge amount of details. And he said final remains would be returned of hostages who've been killed in phase 3. All right. Ronald Kame says, the way things are going in Israel, I don't think Netanyahu will accept any peace or ceasefire no matter who proposes it. Uno Bruno thinks the agreement hasn't changed much. Than earlier proposed, you're saying? Elizabeth G says, so nothing about eliminating Hamas. I guess Hamas would never agree to that. Cher said Israel had already signed off on a deal last month. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the history of everything that's been offered here. But I have to imagine they've been talking about these kind of things for months and months. Anyways, so. Yeah, and then the New York Times said, the New York Times said Biden essentially endorsed an Israeli proposal that had been transmitted to Hamas by Qatari negotiators. Phase 1 would be a 6-week ceasefire, the withdrawal of Israeli forces from populated areas of Gaza, and the exchange of elderly and women hostages held by Hamas in exchange for the release of hundreds of Palestinian detainees. So, anyways, will something come of this? Will there be movement? Will there be a ceasefire deal? Beats me. But it is interesting that Biden gave a speech and he came out publicly and he said, he wants them to both agree to this. I don't think did he mention anything about the big fire in Rafah after that bombing? Israel said they attacked some Hamas targets last weekend, and Israel claimed that it was by accident this tent camp caught on fire. I don't know that Biden, I can't remember if he mentioned it in his remarks. I don't recall hearing it, but anyways. I Can Cast says, I don't think so. OP says nope. Anyways. All right, look, so my attitude on this is we'll see what happens. Again, I'm not the one to bring you detailed day-to-day updates on how this proposal specifically differs from other proposals that might have been discussed over the past X number of months. I'm I'm not aware that there was some huge new breakthrough in this proposal that hasn't been discussed before that could change things. It seems like similar things that have been to other proposals that I've heard, but who knows? Who knows? I am not Mr. Expert on the various proposals. So anyways, thanks JD Riddle. I think I'm going to start wrapping up this live stream. But believe me, if there's some like serious movement on a ceasefire and it looks like it's going to happen, we'll certainly cover that. We'll certainly cover that. DMF Squiggle says usually Israel turns down anything that mentions permanent ceasefire. And again, he did actually say when he was talking that Hamas might want to, negotiate over the details, and he encouraged Israel to be flexible on that. So it's not like this is the one proposal, and he's saying everybody has to stick to these exact details. Chucky's Chiclet said he did not address the incident last weekend. All right. So, anyways, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, we weren't really on this shot. I know it seems kind of weird because it says Biden does this and Trump does this. Trump is here. So we came on the air to cover the Trump press conference from Trump Tower. We did that. Then we heard that Biden was speaking. So we stayed on the air and we covered Biden. So if you missed the Trump press conference, rewind the broadcast because that was the whole point of the stream originally, and we covered that. So you can go back and watch that. Did he? If I missed him mentioning that Hamas that incident with the fire, I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm dealing with like broadcast stuff and I miss something. So I apologize if he said something about it and I missed it. But some of our viewers said he didn't address it. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys tuning in for the broadcast. The people keep asking about the debates. I don't think I'm going to have the rights to show debate footage. If I do have the rights, I will. But I don't know that I don't know that I'll have any footage to show you. If I don't have the debate footage on June 27th, I'll probably do at least like a pre and post show or something, or even just a post show for the debate so we can talk about it. He said we all saw the images. Is that what he said? We all saw the images? I'd like to play that part. Somebody said he mentioned it. Cyan Doodle said he mentioned it, and Dark Brandon said we all saw the images. If you have a time code, I'll look at it. I'm looking at the chat. Anyways, so I might have just missed that little part where that part where he talked about it. Towards the end, says Tiberius. I don't recall some big part of the speech about it. Okay, anyways, so I'm sorry if I missed that part. Salsa says it wasn't specific. He was talking about general pictures from Gaza. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about it at this moment. You can go back and watch it if you want. Anyways, I'm going to start wrapping this up. I really appreciate you guys being here for this broadcast. And subscribe, follow Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news coverage. Agenda Free TV. And sign up for our free notifications. We have a notification system we've set up, let you know when we're going live every single time. You sign up once, it's free, and you get a message every single time we're going live, right before we go live. Mods will put the link to the notifications in the chat, but those work really well. Sign up to those. Also, huge thanks to everybody who donated. That is really awesome of you. I really appreciate that. You're the ones who keeps this channel going. So thanks so much to everybody who donated. You can always, if you want to donate, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But huge thanks to you for that. And I want to thank our moderators. Thanks to our mods. What does this say? What was that about? Oh. Thanks, Michelle Franco, by the way, for the Facebook stars. Huge thanks to our moderators. They are amazing. They're always here in our chat rooms. They are the reason that we can have chat rooms is our moderators. So huge thanks to them. RJ, Richard Williams, Danny James over on YouTube. We've had a bunch of moderators in and out today. Kinetic. Big thanks to our moderators. Linda Belk and Larry moderate for us on X. Christina Neal. K. Larry Body over there on Facebook. Any others I might have missed over there on Facebook? Thank you. Over there on Twitch. Thanks to all of our mods who've been there. Bash and Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, Cerrero, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, Sarah, Papa Bear. Thanks to all of our mods. And hey, also at the same link that the notifications are at, you can check out our Discord chat. We have a Discord chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. Check that out if you want. Same link as the notifications. And thanks to our Discord mods too. Appreciate you. And if anybody's interested in being a volunteer moderator, sometimes there's a wait list for that, but that'd be awesome. You can ask our mods for more information about that. Follow me on X for breaking news updates when we're not on the air, at Lookner on X. Oops, that's not it. That's not my X. Where is it here? I have to get this off the screen and then put the X account on the screen. Right? Here. There it is. There's my X account. At Lookner on X. Oops. At Lookner on X is where you can follow me. At Agenda Free TV on X is where you can follow Agenda Free TV on X for updates. I always post there when we're going live. Okay. Our viewer NYY says this was Israel's proposal, not Biden's. Okay. Hey, I want to thank our Twitch subscribers. Thanks so much to you, Gina Pina, Beautiful Profanity, Wall Street, Shaggy, Relila. I got really appreciate all of our subscribers over there. I Got That Fire. Thanks for subscribing. Qbat, Anaconda 3, D Marie, and all of our other subscribers on Twitch. Thank you, Sarah. Our Facebook subscribers, the Facebook subscription still has to get fixed. The badge has disappeared. I'm talking to Facebook about it. I'm so sorry, people on Facebook. We will get the Facebook subscriptions fixed. It's really annoying, but oh, and thanks so much, BB Matali. Wow, that's really kind of you, BB Matali. Thanks for that generous Facebook stars. Very generous Facebook stars donation over on Facebook. BB Matali, thank you. Very, very kind of you. It's really nice of you. Thank you. And all of our subscribers over there on Facebook. But I am in touch with them and actively working to get this issue fixed. And thanks so much to our YouTube members like Jack Ball, Evelyn in Maine, Mythical, Michael Sotart, Marissa Pugliese, J.K. Sinar, Evelyn in Maine, Emily Brook. These are some of our YouTube members. Hindsight, Tis What It Is, Susan Stater, Flor Moreta, Ann Breedenstein, Editor Larry, Dark Brandon, Overfear, Wildflower, Basic J, Amra, Wickedest Witch, Doug Cahill, Anali Syria, Janet Burnett, Justin King, OP714, JD Riddle, Boss Lulu, and more, Buffalo Women, Last Viking, Sabin Nation, Antique Action Figure, S-Cub, Marshmallow, Cherry Sour, thanks for being members, Nav, NYY7, Stephen Elder, Dolores Wilson, and all of our other YouTube members, Michael Sotart, thank you. And a reminder, I do have my own channel. This is my channel. I have my own personal channel. Aside from this one, I do some non-news live streaming over on my personal channel that is called Lookner on YouTube and Look Nerd with a D on Twitch. Lookner and Lookner. So check those out if you want to watch some non-news live streams. All right, we are wrapping this up. Thanks to everybody who wrote in and let me read their comments from the chat and wrote to me on the web, and also let me read comments there as well. Interesting comments and questions today. All right, so we are sorry, hang on a second. We are wrapping this up. One of our viewers wrote in and said, is it possible that the hostages that didn't get out are dead, and that's the reason Hamas can never make a deal with Israel? I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing that Israel government has decent intelligence on that stuff. That's what I would think. But I can't speak to, the numbers, if any of the ones believed to be alive are not alive. I don't know. But again, I would think that my gut is that Israel would have some decent intelligence on that. But I can't speak to the facts on that. But thanks for writing in with the question. All right. Anyways, I'm wrapping this up. And we'll see what happens with the Middle East. The Notorious Rob thinks Hamas has tried multiple times to make a deal, but Bibi constantly denies them. That's what Notorious Rob thinks. One of our other viewers thinks it's Hamas's fault that there's no deal. And then one of our viewers, Ari Yelian, thinks Biden's plan will never be accepted by Hamas because it requires them to give up their holy war. Well, I hope they can reach a deal. We'll have to see what happens. All right, guys, that is it. Really appreciate you joining our live coverage today. We covered the Trump press conference. We covered Biden speaking about the Middle East, and we're wrapping this up now. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate you being here, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.